There it goes.
Here, I'll do the pings and stuff.
Nice. Yeah, it's fun. As like met a couple or like somebody of like Paul's friends who's working as like a recruiter for some like tech startup that's doing like blockchain shit, and she like doesn't know anything about it, and she's just like, yeah, they use all these buzzwords that I don't understand. Like they want everything has to be like Web3. And she's just like, I don't know what the fuck that means. And I was like, oh, it means whatever you want it to mean in this space. It's pretty much the umbrella term of crypto. If you don't want to say crypto, you just say Web3.
I know, it's so stupid. It's just like, it's like when they were like, it's not global warming anymore, it's climate change. It's like, it's the same shit, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, exactly. Web3 is to crypto what global warming is to climate change.
I don't know. I feel like there's some contextual changes where it's like, I guess crypto's kind of like on chain, like blockchain, and then Web3 kind of implies on products that integrate with blockchain.
Yeah.
So
that's
like,
kind of what I told her. I was like,
browsers or games or apps that all like connect and utilize blockchain as by virtue of the product. So I get that, but I totally agree with you that the nomenclature is more like just tech bros saying like buzzwords. So it really isn't that consistent in its use case.
Yeah. I was just like, it's basically like the next step of the internet, where instead of like corporations and companies and entities that you like, you know, like Amazon or whatever, hosting their websites themselves, and then you, if you want to interact with their website, needing to go onto their platform, making an account with them and giving them your information before you can interact with them. That is the like Web 2. And then Web 3 would be like Amazon has a like an app basically that runs on a public blockchain that anybody can interact with from their wallet address without making an account or giving any information to their like Amazon marketplace.
It still feels a little cringy to me.
It's very cringy. It's funny. It was also asked, is like, are you like are you a Bitcoin bro, like a crypto bro? And I was like, I don't think so.
I'm not any kind of bro. I don't want to be any bro.
I might be, like, I do like this for a full-time living, so yes, but also
like you want you give me a better term than a crypto.
Yeah, it's like you some kind of crypto bro, and I was like,
I feel like crypto bro in my thought process is someone that tells you all about crypto when you don't want to hear about it, and is over leveraged and probably doesn't make a lot of money and like isn't good at it, but they talk about it a lot. Like they aren't very good at technical analysis, but they really want to talk to you about it. That's what I feel like the crypto bro feeds. And then, you know, people that are successful are just like investors and traders.
That's what I was like, I don't know if I'm a crypto
blockchain enthusiasts or something like that. Those are better terms to me.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not necessarily a crypto bro because I don't really tell people to buy anything or do anything at all with their money. Like I more tell people what's possible, but I don't know that I think personally, I don't think anybody should get into this stuff because it is speculative and very tricky to navigate and a good way to lose your money.
So this is some friend of Paul's that's getting into a startup. Was that the deal?
She works as a recruiter, so she's recruiting.
Oh, she's recruiting for the startup. Okay.
So she needs to be able to like recruit people, like talent who can work in Web3, but she doesn't. I mean, honestly, it's like, how are you going to recruit? Like, you don't know what questions to ask.
Yeah, like, well, I guess there's all those people who got laid off from Coinbase, so there you go.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I've never like I reached out to Gemini before they launched their exchange for job opportunities there. When they were like, "Hey, we're gonna launch an exchange, like, you know, you can make like email, you can add yourself to the wait list." And I was like, "Hey, I'd love to like work with this team and like, you know, I like what you're doing, you know, launching a crypto exchange in the regulatory environment of New York, like basically on Wall Street. This sounds like the future of fucking crypto to me." And they were like, "Great, like, yeah, we need front-end developers." And I was like, "Okay, well, it's not me." But
I mean, I like the idea. Well, here, real quick, like thank you for trickling into everyone, by the way. It looks like Fun Days is like a Funko event that is, I guess they're selling tickets. Is it like pretty highly sought after? Like, where are they?
Is it a physical event?
It must be some sort of convention from the sound of it. Oh, well.
That's actually kind of dope.
Where do they do it? Like, where's the event? Is it in like San
SDCC.
Diego or LA or
San Diego Comic-Con? SDCC
Okay.
is what he's saying. 4 hours of
4 hours of buffet. I could eat for 4 hours.
fuck, dude. That's all I need to hear. Where are these tickets?
You had me at buffet.
Damn, dude. First line in, I'm like, oh hell yeah. 4 hours. Big show awards, lots of prizes, usually photos too. Anyone who can like.
Okay, so it's unclear. So to keep it fair, they drop it between now and 2 p.m. Okay, so it's like a window to buy.
That's shit. That's okay. Okay, so yeah, if you want that, it sounds like you gotta already be sweating and
okay, yeah,
refreshing shit. Damn.
Well, we have tech talk today. So for context, last week we started like 100 wax investment, which I guess is roughly about $10. And
yeah, it was like
Max
8
is going to take that like 100 wax and kind of just try different strategies and show how you can grow like a relatively small chunk of change and kind of see what you can do with it, starting in the wax ecosystem and then kind of seeing where it takes them, maybe branch out to other chains over time. But we'll broadcast everything on stream. We'll only touch this account on Tuesdays, so it's not like Max is doing a bunch of like tinkering in between, so you can always see what's happening. And we're trying to gear it towards like an approachable model where it's not like, hey, you could turn 100 wax into 10,000 wax if you slave over your computer every single day, 8 hours a day. That's not sustainable for the layperson, so we're trying to kind of make it more, if you're a person with a 9-to-5 job and blah blah blah. So
yeah,
but we'll go over like the general market conditions and stuff, and Lou will pop in later.
The lay person. Let's see. Yeah, should we start by just looking at some of this market? This was a crazy fucking week in the crypto market, as we expected. We did
real quick, I'm gonna start a Stream Raiders, although this is like a force call. I don't know if we can handle a force caller with like 20 people here, but we'll see. I don't even know if I can take another route. All right, maybe I'll wait till more people trickle in, unless we're confident in our Stream Raider ability here.
Yeah, that was the first time I had that conversation though, with like another person who was like, "What do you do for a living?" And it was like, "Oh, I was like esoteric crypto stuff that like you probably don't want to hear about." And then they were like, "Oh, like what kind of things?" Like, I like supplying liquidity and like like basically like managing liquidities and like a big portfolio. And she was like, "For what company?" And I was like, "Oh, just private equity." And she's like, "Oh yeah,
Max LLC, Max Limited."
I was like, it's just private equity. It's like, "Oh yeah, for like a bank or something." It's like, "No, like my private equity. I own all the assets that I use. Like it's all just my money."
I mean, I think your idea of turning investment strategies into NFTs as a product, I think is such an excellent idea that I just don't think it's mature enough to get to there, but that is the future of NFTs to me. Yeah, like outside of the art space and the gaming space, that is such a next level concept. That I think that will really bring in a lot of big brains to say, okay, this isn't just monkey pictures and gun skins here. Like this is some serious tech.
I will 100% put a fucking monkey picture on my like DeFi strategy NFT though. Like,
yeah. So like for context, Max been like spitballing an idea where like, NFT technology, you could basically buy underlying assets.
The NFT can act as a crypto wallet. So whatever I do with my crypto wallet, I could put into an NFT, and then the NFT would own those assets and hold those positions. And then I could sell the entire NFT, including all of the access to those assets and everything, bundled as a single entity. And the NFT itself could then be used to like claim those rewards rather than unwrap the entire position. And anytime you claim a reward, I would take like a 1 or 2% or whatever, like kickback from that, as long as the NFT is intact. But if the buyer who bought the NFT from me decides they understand the investments well enough, or they want to do this stuff themselves and want to cut me out of my commission, they can simply burn the NFT and claim all of the tokens, unwrap the positions, and own all the assets themselves, and cut me out of that percentage. So my
or
goal
liquidate
is,
all the underlying value, and you could sell
exactly.
or trade that NFT to other people, and it's a prepackaged ongoing strategy. So as long as that NFT is in your wallet, you would be actively participating in that strategy, which is
Yeah,
really cool too. So
I
um
think it's definitely like a reasonable thing to expect NFTs to
and so
develop
you could
into.
have like a whole suite of products of like, and the NFT itself could be like a visual representation of like, okay, this is
Mhm.
like heavy DeFi. This is like, here's like X, Y, and Z positions on these chains. They're all like liquidity farming. The risk assessment is like, say, like medium aggressiveness. And it's designed for like, designed for X ROI or yield. And then you could have a whole suite of like low to high risk investments or different types of investments. One could be like staking strategies, another could be like an LP, things like
Here's the cool
that.
thing. It's not like a fund share at all. The cool thing is that if it was a fund share, I would be issuing a security. I'm not an institution that has the right in my country to issue financial security assets. I'm not trying to sell a fund share or anything that gives the buyer permission to like vote on what I do with funds that I control. If you buy this NFT, you buy the funds as well. It's 100%. Once you have the NFT, you own everything. I sell the entire position, the value of it. Like if it's like, for example, what we're doing on Wax right now is Nefty and Wax added to the liquidity pool, and then that staked to their rewards yielding thing. So that's how we're doing our investment for this week from last week. Instead of doing that in a wallet, doing that within an NFT and then selling the NFT to somebody else. Now the owner of the NFT doesn't just own like access to the yield from that strategy that's been set up, but the actual position itself. So once it's sold, I no longer own
Yeah,
like
you're
the
kind of
ability
like
to
selling
interact
a
with it.
financial strategy, including the underlying assets. So if it's like,
Exactly.
here's
Yeah,
the
it's
strategy,
not.
but it's not like telling you to do it. It's like, here's 10 grand. This is $10,000 already input into a strategy, and then you pay whatever the value of that 10 grand of underlying assets plus the value of the work that put into it and blah blah
Yeah.
blah,
And
and then you
theoretically, I would
absorb
just sell
that.
it at cost. I would
Yeah,
just sell it for the 10 grand
and
because
then
I
you
get
get,
my 1% cut. And if whenever you claim your thing, I get 1% of the
it's
yielding.
almost like a more direct path for like being a financial advisor, because like
Yeah,
typical like
exactly.
custodial financial advisors will take like a 1, 2, 3% fee of the total underlying assets. Now, this would be like a
Only on the
business model
yield.
where you take it on the yield,
Yeah.
not the total value of the assets, which is actually
I literally
less
have to
money you're
make
paying
you,
in
yeah,
fees than
yeah,
you would in a
way less.
traditional
And I
finance.
have to make you money. If I want to make money, I have to make you a profitable product. Otherwise, I don't make shit.
Now, the legality kind of goes into a weird gray area as far as
Definitely really
fiduciary
strange.
responsibilities, whether you'd have to be like a registered financial advisor, which has certain qualifications and certain certifications that you would need. But it's a really cool
Yeah.
concept as far as this to take NFTs to another level of
Yeah.
product that exists
This,
outside of what traditionally people think about, which is artwork and gaming.
yeah, you can do things with NFTs like that, like very simple structures that would require multiple financial institutions today, like setting up a trust fund for your kid. You could do
Yeah.
that in an NFT by yourself without a fucking broker, without a like bank, and without a lawyer, and literally just have that NFT, send it to your kid, and then have your kid, it won't be able to withdraw or do anything with the NFT until the vesting period or whatever you decide the terms are met.
It
So you
also
can
makes
do,
that's kind of fascinating too, because it would make the
yeah,
need for an estate lawyer a lot cheaper too, because you
yeah,
could
a
have it
lot
an
cheaper.
executable thing of like, okay, here's their wallet, they own it. You just have to pass on access to the private keys, and you
Yeah,
don't need to unwind all these complex things to have an estate lawyer
yeah,
have like beneficiaries and so on and so forth, and you don't have to
it's
go
a
into
big
probate
deal.
court.
Yeah.
So you could save in that way as well. So I mean, how they would tax that is kind of interesting, um but
Yeah,
yeah, I like the idea of that level of ownership being so accessible. And honestly, just people our age now are want to be exposed to cryptocurrency in some way, like millennial Gen Z's. There's a larger swath of people that want to be exposed to these kinds of assets. And so as an entry point into a complex market as a layperson that's like, hey, I kind of want to try this out, but I don't quite know how to build these things, and I also don't want to have to create a bunch of different presence on different blockchains and dive in all this complex stuff. I can just kind of buy it, understand it, set it and forget it. It makes it like pretty approachable both for entry level investors and high level investors, and you could create a suite of products that is different sets of entry points at cost too. You could do like $1,000 position, you could do $100,000 position.
Yeah, the coolest thing about all that, in my opinion, is that like any skill level of investor who wants to expose himself to these like crypto assets would basically be able to maintain an unbelievably sophisticated portfolio. But what they actually hold is like 4 or 5 different NFTs, but those NFTs themselves are comprised of these like really well designed, like high concept strategies that, use like 6 or 7 different protocols, and the end user doesn't have to know any of it. Like they can still access this, because that's one of my biggest issues with crypto, because a lot of people are like, what's the value of this? Like even last night when I was talking to the guy, the person was kind of like playing devil's advocate of like, first the electricity issue, then like, whatever, all the talking points about what's bad about crypto. And then like this big thing was like, oh, like when the electricity thing too is just like, I don't know, Bitcoin gets held to the standard of like, how much electricity did it cost to make this Bitcoin? But you never hear anyone like hold a dollar bill and it's like, how much electricity was burned to make this dollar? So it's like you're holding people. And then he's just like, yeah, but like everybody uses the way more people use that money system than the Bitcoin system. It's just like, yeah, because they don't have any fucking option. Like they have to be, you're born into that shit system, like no chance to escape. And I would argue that burning all this electricity to run Bitcoin just to present an alternative to the system is already worth it. So it's like there's either way, like my big issue with that access that Bitcoin provides is that it still is it's access to the individual that can now do anything that literally anybody else can do. Like you as a single person in crypto and in DeFi can do the most sophisticated strategy like that the like savviest hedge fund manager is running. You can do the exact same shit using the exact same platforms and protocols and all that stuff with just your stack of money. But the problem is it's really fucking hard to understand how to do those strategies. Like it takes years of like researching high finance to like understand how to even set up a position to go delta neutral, for example. Like that would have gone over most people's heads, even people who invest often. When I'm like, oh yeah, the markets are getting volatile, I'm setting my position delta neutral. Like that basically means like I have a short position open and like, oh shit, like we hit the bottom recently with like a huge sell-off. To set my position delta neutral, I might open a long position that is opposite of my short position, so that if the price of like Ethereum now jumps up, the long position prints money, but the remaining short position loses money, and my baseline stays exactly the same. That is called delta neutral and is a way for me to keep my baseline value while the market is insanely volatile. That is sophisticated as fuck. And like, while you have the access to do something like that, the know-how is still like the barrier of entry at this point. So by making like the technology of NFTs intertwined with this, where now someone who has the know-how can structure this sophisticated position and then package it and hand it off to the next person who doesn't necessarily know how to build it, but knows how to maintain it.
And there's less middlemen along the way, exactly. Like there's a certain bit of gatekeeping in the legacy system for traditional markets when you have like a financial advisor kind of handle your funds. Obviously like a good financial advisor makes it like a partnership, but there is a certain level of, well, the trader guys are going to do what the trader thing does. And I'm going to tell you generally what the position is designed to do, but I'm not really going to tell you how the sausage is made here, for better or for worse. And like, you can kind of dive into those things, but you're always kind of kept in a way that you can't really, if you have a custodian for a position or for a portfolio that's say like a retirement portfolio or something like that, they make the trades and you can't really access those things physically. It's not you can log into the same account and do some trades, and then the financial guys do the trades and back and forth. They are custodians of those assets. It's always yours. It's not like they're taking your money, but you are in complete control of the position. And so in that way, I think it simplifies an existing kind of idea, but does it in crypto markets. Least Comic Standing said, what's holding us back? I think there's a lot of legalities and gray areas
as well. Like it's
smart
not like
contract development you would have to do.
Exactly.
It
would need a specific token standard. You can't just do what I'm describing with like an atomic NFT, like an atomic asset. I can't what I could do with the atomic asset. Let's just compare this simply to our existing position in Nifty blocks in the liquidity yield. With an atomic asset, I could theoretically put the liquidity position of Wax and Nifty into the Alcor pool, which results in Wax Nifty token. I could take Wax Nifty token and use that to back an atomic asset NFT. What I can't do is then stake that Wax Nifty token to the distribution pool that earns me the rewards from that NFT, and then have the rewards claimable within the NFT. So that part is holding us back. And that,
and there would be some like specific smart contract development to create like
it would have to be part of the actual NFT token standard. Like you would otherwise, if you have the NFT and it's like going through another, then you're introducing more middlemen. So
you want to introduce the idea that you could take like an admin fee or whatever, and that would require some specific development and how you could do this and what chain you would do it on. But it's really interesting to think about and kind of a cool future. Real quick before we get into the next piece here, I'll start Stream Raiders now that we got like a critical mass here. So this is a Force Scholar, so I kind of need some assistance here. What the hell is this thing? It's a big happy blob. All right, well.
Nice.
So anyway, we can do exclamation point Stream Raiders if you want to join. And Max is going to go into just some like general market. Check the general total market, see where we're at going into a new week, going into the end of the month, and then we'll dive into that like kind of 100 Wax investment he's been doing.
Yeah, and then let's see what we want to do with it. We could, we can decide as a group what we want to do. If we want to stay in that pool for another week, or if we want to move the funds into some other pool, or if we want to move them into a different blockchain and try to do a short sell.
But yeah, like to wrap up the last piece, I think it's really fun to think about these broader, higher level concepts. I think the perception of what NFTs could be get lost in kind of the chatter of like, oh, it's so stupid that people pay 6 figures for like monkeys, right? And it's like NFTs are a technology that's built on blockchain. It's an approach, it's a tool, it's an ability to implement certain things, and what that product is really as much as you or as little as you want to make it. And I think to bring the conversation back that this is just a technology and a tool rather than all NFTs are artwork puts it in perspective a little bit, that as this kind of grows and people figure out what's possible, it is really fascinating to see where the ceiling really is on development.
Here we go. This is some serious. So Charged Particles is making an NFT token standard that caters to this. And you can see some of the ideas they have here for what you can do with that NFT. So interest-bearing NFTs, DeFi NFTs is like a strategy itself. Time-locked vesting capsules, trust funds, bonds, NFTs filled with whole portfolios of assets. So you could basically create like an index that is actually the value, that is not just an index of the tokens, but an actual like representation of the actual indexed tokens that it's tracking. And then it is actually also all of those tokens. But yeah, there's a lot of really interesting use cases for this kind of stuff here. And if you want to like get some ideas, check out Charged Particles. It's charge.fi is the just to get ideas of what they're working on. And I'm not saying like go in here and buy their token or mess with their stuff. It's definitely been on my radar for a while. I really like this kind of, and I think their token actually has a pretty substantial staking yield too. If we, let's see, if we switch to Ethereum mainnet and connect to it, we could see what they're offering here. Ethereum connect. They're on staking V4. Let's see. IONX is their token, so they're offering staking for both liquidity and just their straight token. And let's see what their interest rates are. Damn, 47% APR paid in IONX. That's actually getting close to like a price where I might buy some and stake them, now that all these tokens are way down. But either way, that's part of their distribution right now. The IONX token is like the governance token for the DAO-ish protocol that governs this manufacturing of this NFT token standard. So very deep cut stuff that probably shouldn't just like casually mention because it's really complicated.
We'll save that for another day.
Yeah. But either way, this is a nice one. If you just go to charge.fi, you can like read through their documentation and watch some of their media stuff here that explains their vision and what they're working on. And it really is pretty fascinating. But yeah, let's take a look at the markets. So this week we did get more of the sell-off we were looking for still. And we started to hit some of the, God, I hit my scroll wheel. Some of the like targets here, this first red line at like 700 something, we got close. I think it dropped below 900 for a minute. I was actually able to I closed a lot of my short position once we hit near this red line, because this was, or this purple line was like, I want to close in a good amount. So I closed, I think, 3/4 of my entire short position around here and got an average price of like $960 per Ethereum. Very happy about that.
Yeah, that's pretty close to the bottom there.
Yeah, very solid. Also, I started selling around like below 900, but because of how much I was buying, it like was driving the price up pretty aggressively on the side chain, not like on Ethereum mainnet. I'm not that big of a whale, but for some side chains, I could be considered a whale. But yeah, let's take a look at the Ethereum now. So we did we're on the daily, big sell off. Lower lows on the on balance volume, not make like a long way from trying to make a new high. So still very much in the bearish sentiment. Let's zoom in a little closer and see what's happening with those on balance volumes in the smaller time frames. So you can see we are starting to climb a bit. We're at like around here now. So let's see how's that compared to the last time we were at the same price point. So what I'm doing now is looking at this green dotted line coming out of that current front candle and tracking back to where that intersects with my chart, which is here. So this is about the last time we were seeing the same price in Ethereum on Coinbase. So I'm only checking Coinbase's chart right now, but around here, the on balance volume at Coinbase still, we have to go this next candle over, this one, still substantially higher. So definitely not making higher highs yet, even though we're clearly climbing. And we've, this is the Stoch RSI, and it's looking quite overbought outside of the blue range here. But it can stay up that high for a while. Like here, you can see it flatlining on the floor, or here, just like coasting along the top. Either way, so still I'm seeing the prices climbing. We're actually approaching the super trend support line here, which we can turn on and off to. The super trend. But let's see, right now in the short term, we got a big sell-off here in the last, let's zoom back out to like the daily. We like to like look at this stuff on the daily and weekly more than like the couple hour time frame. Anyway, and on the daily, we still, new lows, not even close to higher highs. But anyway, let's take a look at what we're looking at. We've got huge sell-off. Like, look at all these red candles back to back to back. Almost every day, more selling than buying for a long time. Let's keep looking back. Also, we can see volume is growing. As the sell-off is deepening, more people are selling. You see these candlesticks during the high movement areas are larger than they used to be. You can see the last time they were this large was up here where we did. Oh, this is the first time we pulled back during this like massive bull run here. This was July, like what is this? May 2021. That's the last time we saw the volume ticks up that high for the selling. But as we saw, it found support and kept moving upward to form almost a double top, which is where we started charting our trend lines down. So let's see the trend lines down. The Gandalf line is super duper intact. Like
forgot about that last week.
Yeah, the Gandalf line. The you shall not pass line is still hovering around $2,700 per unit. If we cross that, definitely I would say this downtrend is over. But the actual trend line is this darker blue line here.
Yeah, and so I guess if you think about how long a bear market would last, if like the Gandalf line is like if that were to represent a trend reversal, and we're here in the 900s to 1,000, and at the rate at which you can see this price action kind of go up and go down, you can kind of get a general idea of how long to expect, or at least a general ballpark of like to mentally prepare for how long these sort of bear market conditions will last.
That's why
we're a ways away from the Gandalf line.
I drew the regular trend line to my red line support, which is like around what we actually hit here, the 840. I think I saw it around 870 when I started selling. So that was expecting that to take almost into December to get to these prices, like following this trend line. So we're actually dramatically pulling away.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so you can see the trend can kind of chart out the.
Yeah, like here we were right on track with the trend, and then since like pretty much last week we lost that and started a more aggressive sell-off, which we saw earlier as well here. So the trend starts moving down. We're kind of like bouncing above it. People are still very bullish in their sentiment, and then a hard sell-off here, bounced below, and then couldn't close above. Oh man, this is bad news. Big sell-off happening here, right? And then of course people still feeling very euphoric in general. Like the bear market sentiment I haven't seen until the last 2 or 3 weeks, even though we've been preaching bear market for like 3 months now. Most people were still like, oh yeah, it's about to bounce back and make new all-time highs. And you can see it actually did break, like it still was toying with the trend line, and then it bounced above. And then, and this is where we got our Gandalf line from. This was once this got rejected here, we knew, okay, there's a peak, and we can use that peak along with the peaks from the last markets to then do this line to be like, okay, it's getting consistently rejected at this resistance now, and let's use this as our golden rule of like, if we're seeing it move above here, if you still have short positions, get rid of them. For me personally, so that's kind of like how I'm using that. Either way, we did get rejected here, started moving down, lost the super trend that very shortly flipped again, which I think that has a little less weight in a bear market anyway. But you can see again, when we look at the middle B bands line here, that's the orange line between these two blues. You can see once we like popped off above it, we're still like dropping above, chopping up and down below it, still barely staying above. And then here, once we broke below it and couldn't close above it on the retest, game over. We're now bouncing off the middle B bands line, dropping down, still haven't closed above it, still haven't closed above it. And now we're still below that middle B bands line, which is usually, I didn't mean to grab that one, usually a good line to chart as your either support in a bull trend or your resistance in a bear trend. And you can see that it's been holding very strong as the resistance indicator currently for our bear trend. But it's also important to note, if we zoom in a little here, that resistance level currently is at like $1,400 per unit, and we're only at 11. So to me, that means we can actually recover and bounce probably to this, which used to be support, isn't turn this into resistance. So I wouldn't change my tune on feeling short, even if the price recovered all the way to like 1,400 still, because 1,400 we would likely still be below the middle B bands line. We're certainly still below the short trend line, way below the Gandalf one here. And again, what I would need to see to flip that sentiment is not just the price moving up that way, but the price moving up that direction while the volume, on balance volume, is making higher highs. So if this were to start moving up to like back to 1400, obviously I would start to reassess my short sentiment, and that short sentiment would be informed then not just by the price but also by the on balance volume, or how much like the market is overbought, oversold, and all those other metrics will then start to play in.
So that's how
even,
you would determine whether or not you're seeing a retest or a trend reversal.
yeah, that's what I want to see. If I'm seeing a trend reversal, I want to see higher highs like getting made on these on balance volume. And you can see like assets that get like a lot of money inflow do that. Like look at this Kava, right? It's just like taking a shit and it's just climbing on balance volume, climbing. Like Kava network it's basically a cross blockchain money market. Like if you think of like Tranquil or Compound or whatever, where you can deposit Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all those things. Like Kava network lets you do that, but instead of bridging those assets and tokenizing them, you can deposit actual Bitcoin and Ethereum and stuff, and then it basically has a Kava counterpart. I don't have to explain it all. It's an interesting product that has a constant buy pressure from the use of its product. Basically, every time people pay interest to the money market, a portion of the interest is used to buy Kava token, and those Kava tokens are burned. So there's like a constant buy pressure by their own protocol, which tracks with just pumping. Like here, if we zoom out on this, look at this. It's just like the price is all over the fucking place, but the value is just pouring into that market. And so there, this to me signifies more of a like, oh, this has a lot of juice to move upwards. Once the trends reverse in the general market, this can pop off super hard. But the other side of this is just Kava on Binance. This is a much smaller amount of money moving through a market like this. So it's a lot less reliable to see a metric like that. It's basically like not too difficult to see something like this happening on a market like this and then ignore what's happening on the actual blockchain side. So we would have to pretty much look at Kava's like on balance volume, not just on Binance, but compare that to every other place it trades to get this kind of like confidence. With Bitcoin, because it's such a global asset, Bitcoin really does have a similar picture on all of the different exchanges. So even if I changed from Coinbase and started looking at Bitcoin on, let's do Binance too. Binance is huge. You can see very similar. Actually, on Binance, it's starting a lot higher and then just selling off a lot more aggressively. But either way, similar downturn in on balance volume. And we can show, let's see, like Gemini is another exchange I use. Gemini, similar deal. We've come up, we've come down, steep sell off in on balance volume lately across all of these markets. So I like to see this metric in line with the price metric before I make a decision on a reversal of the trend. And here we're seeing kind of like, price is falling, on balance volume is falling. We're making lower lows, lower highs. This is a downtrend still. Now, I also have been charting the SPY alongside this. The SPY is the index for the S&P 500. Basically, it's like boomer stocks. Think like Procter and Gamble is part of SPY.
Boomer stocks.
Yeah, like Coca-Cola, like Kellogg's, like stuff that's been around for fucking ever. Yeah.
Like, how do they determine? Do you know how they determine that? It's the top 500 by market cap, or I actually don't know.
Yeah, it's this top 500 by I think it's top 500 by market cap with headquarters in the United States, and like they have certain like requirements like that where it's, I forget what.
Yeah, and then like the Nasdaq is more like tech based and like biotech and things like that. If I understand correctly.
Yeah, that's right. Nasdaq is like tech stocks, and then the Dow is like what is it like? It's another like American
more industry stuff.
Yeah, it's like American industry stuff. But the S&P 500 is like consumer level stuff, like dish soaps and like pots and pans and stuff
consumer
like the
goods.
grocery stores, the fucking like that kind of stuff is all on the S&P. So the S&P is what we're tracking to see the recession basically that everyone's afraid of as well. So
markets looked a little greener today. There's a slight retest pump here.
Yeah, I'm thinking we retest to like 380 at most. Like I don't see a lot of room left. But again, the middle B bands line could see this go all the way to 390-ish, 395 right now. We're at 375, so there's a decent amount of retest here. But look at the on-balance volume compared to like, it's just like dumping. And it's also like, let's see, the last time we saw these prices is over here. So over here,
yeah, and it'd be interesting to see. I mean, like, take this with a massive grain of salt. I cook and make drinks, so I'm not exactly like Mr. Economist here, but the thought process is that with interest rates being so low for the last few years, that the only real place to put large sums of money was in equities and in stocks, because that was the best return on your investment, because savings accounts in a traditional bank are like less than 1%. Now that interest rates from the Federal Reserve are being raised, in theory, that would increase the amount of money that people would get yielded on putting in high yield savings accounts and things like that. From their banks, and so that might take money out of the traditional market and put it back into traditional savings, because the interest rates are making it incentivized and advantageous to do so. But Max, please correct me if I'm full of shit.
No, I agree with that actually. And here's the other thing that kind of concerns me about this. Like you see, last time we saw prices like that during a sell-off, the OBV was like hovering around here. We're around the same price now and the same OBV. In the macro picture of the current like economic state, we're due for a correction, and this feels like maybe we haven't even gotten started yet.
It's really funny. I'm pretty sure if you look at it, like, if you I know it's easy to, like, in the short term to be like, man, these charts look fucking insane and it's like scary, but if you look at it, like, I don't even think we've gotten to pre-COVID levels as far. So this is like a crash in the sense that there's a large downturn from where the market, like the large S&Ps were at, but I don't think it's even lower than what we did before the pandemic. So like, it's really still, in the larger scale, a trend upward. So if people start freaking out, it's like your investments more or less are the same as they were 2 years ago. It's not like we're going down and direct.
Here we see what COVID's crash does to the OBV. Serious movement. Like, holy shit, for like so long it's been holding tons of value in these markets, and then COVID.
Well, wait, you're looking at 2008. That's
this is okay, my bad. I'm way out now. Oh right, I'm on weekly now. COVID didn't even blip on here then. Like 2019 would have been like over here.
There you go. So now you're in 2020.
Yeah, look at that. The response of the OBV to the COVID crash, which is this, compared to an actual crash, which is this.
That was the last recession. That was 2008, right? So I mean, you think about it two ways, in that if this is a true crash, it has a long way to go. But also, if you put it in perspective, this downtrend is still a net positive, even if you zoom out into as little as a 2-year time frame, which in the grand scheme of economics is a very short time frame. If you're thinking the last 5 years, it's still astronomically much higher. So
here we are in 2 years. So like before COVID, we're still above the valuation and the SPY than we were before the COVID dump. Still, if that, like, that doesn't add up to me. Like, the world has changed, the industries have changed, the values have changed, but not according to the actual like trading values of them at the moment.
Yeah, so I feel like this is a good exercise in basically giving yourself a bit of a sanity check. If you turn on the news and the 24-hour news cycle every day, and it's doom and gloom and chaos and and everything's burning down. But if you can just kind of give yourself a common sense look at these things, and it puts it in perspective a little bit more, which I think helps as far as emotional regulation during markets like this, which is very key to being a good investor.
Yeah, the perspective that I'm seeing from just looking at this chart is basically no investment entity who's buying like reasonably into like diversified equities or index funds. None of them who bought before what are we looking at here, like who bought before, let's call it November 2020, are in the red. Like the prices are higher than literally anybody who bought before here bought lower than those prices are now. Like in history, literally everybody who like bought at the height of before the crash in 2008 still is also like 4 or 5x still. Like, and then again, people who had their whole portfolios in these like indexes or in these markets wiped out by COVID, they're still sitting on more than they were before their portfolio was wiped out based on these like, SPY indexes. Obviously there's individual shares and stuff that people might have blown all their money with, but the reality is like this market this is like a very small correction and not really a collapse or a crash. A crash would see at least come to this level here where we were slowing down the uptrend, basically at least to where the COVID crash jumped, or maybe half of that, which is still like, we would double the like intensify the sell-off before we even get there. So it's a long way down still, and that helps keep me a little bit bearish still. I think the markets will keep selling off because the markets do tend to move in tandem with this SPY more recently than this is. But yeah, let's zoom back in on our crypto stuff though. And we'll do days. And let's see, Bitcoin. But yeah. So basically the takeaway for me from looking at the charts right now is it's nice to see a little bit of support being found. It looks like for Bitcoin around 20,000 and for Ethereum around 1,000. And I'm not convinced that support means we're about to like reverse the trend and keep moving up. But there is also a decent amount of room to move higher in the short term without invalidating that bear sentiment, like of thinking that the market may continue to turn down longer term. And again, I was drawing these trend lines out, till December. So we're hitting like these low prices that I was expecting to hit very, very quickly. What that can mean is we could start to recover, and once we flip these trends, move back into a bull cycle very quickly. I find that unlikely given the like macro picture, the like look of the SPY and the stock market and the equity assets, the state of the housing market currently, the fact that a lot of people are over leveraged when it comes to home ownership too. Like a lot of people who own multiple houses, they'll buy one house usually with collateral against their equity, like their stocks or whatever. And then they'll take that house and collateralize it and buy a second house against their first house. And then you can take both of those houses and buy a third house against the first two houses. The more houses you have, the cheaper your interest gets. But as your value of these houses and the stocks that you use to collateralize for that cheap interest rate, as the value of those assets decreases, the amount of interest the bank will charge you for that loan will increase because it's no longer as safe of a position for the bank to take in your equity. So as these markets keep like falling off, I expect to see people needing to restructure, and that restructure will include selling off assets that they maybe didn't plan to sell, such as houses or securities that, the idea was just to leave them as collateral forever. so given that kind of macro picture, I'm not convinced that we're going to be seeing that first option. So the second option would then be we selling off this aggressively, and then we'll move sideways until we kind of hit the trend line, and then we'll continue to sell down. So we'll see. But I'm thinking something similar to what we saw here, where we moved over the trend line, moving sideways, and then retouching to the trend line. But now on the other end. So like maybe moving sideways and then selling, pumping back up till we hit the trend line around here or whatever, and then possibly getting rejected and continuing the sell-off down into some of these lower support levels, which my lower one here is 550 for Ethereum, at which point, you know, that's still 50% lower than where we're at now, or more than 50%. Like you would still see dramatic room in both directions, basically. I think at some point in the future, though, at the end of the day, these assets aren't going to be gone, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. And the real interesting thing is that Bitcoin on the weekly chart is closing below the 200-day smooth moving average for the first time ever. Let me change this to a different chart so I don't have all my lines here. But let's do Bitcoin at Binance. Oh, Binance isn't like new enough. And then let's add the 200-day smooth moving average.
It is pretty wild. It is pretty wild to see. Like, I think you're seeing a lot of bull market players in the crypto world getting caught with their pants down the past few weeks, with Terra Luna, with Celsius liquidation, with there was another one I'm blanking on. It's like
3 Arrow Capital.
There it is. That's the one. And like, you know, these are a lot of, I honestly don't know enough on under the hood on these things, but you know, people get greedy during these bull markets, and now when things are correcting, you peek under the hood. Now they're over leveraged and thinking, you know, they're invincible here. And I think a lot of these business models were not prepared for non-bull market conditions, and now you see people getting liquidated. So I think a lot more companies that were flying too close to the sun and playing a little too fast and loose are going to get shaken out here. And honestly, I think it's for the better if they're going to run their business by completely. And I'm not saying people should get wrecked and lose their money here, but I'm just saying that these companies that are playing fast and loose with their business model kind of deserve to get called out on it because it's not.
There's a lot of leverage happening in this space, and a lot of it is connected, like interconnected. Like when the Terra Luna collapsed, that rippled through the entire crypto market because, like Mark is saying, a lot of these like centralized exchange and a lot of these bigger institutions are participating in those products with their users' funds or with their own funds, which they then, you know, when something like Terra Luna collapse happens and those funds get either lost or become tied up in some type of like, you know, vesting term or some nonsense that's happening, those funds can't be then accessed to give to their clients to withdraw, and then they have to pause withdrawals, like what we're seeing with Celsius, for example. And then I wanted to touch on something really quick that I've been seeing a lot of comments on lately in the Celsius chats, which, if anyone's familiar, Celsius is a basically a centralized money market where you can deposit your Bitcoin or your Ethereum or your other, you know, crypto tokens, and they will pay you like a passive interest paid out every week for supplying your tokens to their platform. What they're doing with your tokens behind the scene is, you know, lending them out to other exchanges to help supply exchange liquidity to those exchanges for some type of interest. They're also lending them out on actual money market protocols like MakerDAO, like Compound. So basically, like we've looked at Tranquil. Tranquil is a fork of Compound. So products like that, where they'll take their own funds, and what they were doing, what Celsius specifically was doing, for example, was they were taking users' Ethereum, supplying it to like Maker or Compound to the supply market, using it to borrow cash, and then using the cash to buy more Ethereum to basically make a leveraged long bet with their clients' money. But now that the Ethereum price has fallen, they still have to pay the cash that they borrowed. They have to pay that cash back.
Yeah, and
And
they're
now,
getting margin called basically, but
exactly.
instead of you getting margin called on like your $5,000, little play here on a money market, they're getting margin called to the tune of millions of dollars that wasn't there to begin with, that was being loaned to them by their users. And so there's a lot of nefarious things here, but the regulation is a lot different or just not there.
And the thing that I see often in the communities around those products, the communities of people who have their money locked now and who are concerned with the state of the state of their funds, I've seen often is people pointing at on-chain transactions where Celsius wallets are repaying their loans to those protocols, to those money markets, and then the users in the chats are saying that, this is a good sign, because if Celsius were to be going bankrupt, why would they pay their debts? And the thing that's misunderstood in that sentiment is that when you pay off your loan to that protocol, it frees up your collateral. The collateral that you've already supplied that's being locked by the borrowed money is worth more than the money that you're paying back. So if they have $100 million borrowed, then they must have $120 million worth of assets to borrow that $100 million in the first place. So when they pay back $100 million, they get back $120 million worth of crypto assets.
Who's to say they won't just do it again?
Or that they'll use those crypto assets to pay out their clients. They could just keep your funds locked, use those assets to just short sell the market on the way down to try to fuck over the smaller version of themselves having the same problem. Because there's the real thing here, is that everything being on chain, I and anybody else can see how much money is currently available and how much that money is collateralized against. If that collateral is Ethereum, like it was in this case, if I am a massive Ethereum whale, I might take, $6-7 billion worth of Ethereum and just start dumping it on like Uniswap and Curve and all these different like protocols across the DeFi scene, which will take all that money and pull it into cash for me. So I'm not just selling 6 billion and getting nothing for it. I'd sell it, I'd get cash and drive the market down and down and down. That market being driven down by me personally is now going to make the collateral that I can see on these money markets worth less, meaning that the amount that they've borrowed will suddenly not be appropriately collateralized. If I can push the value of Ethereum down far enough, just for a short while, then I can push those positions into liquidation range, and then I can personally liquidate them at that price. Now, when I take $1 billion to Curve or to Uniswap, if I were to try to buy, like $600 million worth of Ethereum with that, it would make the price, even like on Uniswap where there is that much liquidity, it would make the price go like 20-30%, and I would take a 20-30% slippage impact on that price to try to do a $600 million trade. But if I have like $6 billion, I'm willing to take that 40%, 20, 30, 40% loss on driving the price down, because I know once I've driven it down to this level, I can now liquidate $600 million at that price from this money market. So then when I drove the price down at low and took that hit on the way down, once it's down there, I can use my billions to clear out the maker DAOs, over leveraged positions. And once I've done that, who's left to sell Ethereum at this price? Like nobody. So the price will start recovering, because basically anyone selling was me. And then I bought all of everybody's basically this game is being played out by maybe not individual whales, but institutions who have this type of money.
Yeah. So who's to say that, Celsius paying off their loans? Sure, that's great and all, but who's to say that, when they have that amount of capital to play with, particularly not their own, they can manipulate markets in that way. So, I mean, are you saying is there like evidence that Celsius is manipulating the markets that way, or is just they have the potential to do so?
No. It's not Celsius. That's what caused Celsius to be in trouble. is that Celsius, they opened those positions to like long themselves, but those positions are public information on a public blockchain. Other parties with deep pockets took that information and used it to then manipulate possibly or like sell the price down, which again, much easier when it isn't just Ethereum that we're talking about, but we're talking about like Luna token, which is already collateralized with these dollars, but has this structure of insolvency at, you know, $3 billion. Meaning that if I have $3 billion, I can actually push the price of Terra down to the point where I can start to depeg UST. So that did happen. Like an individual entity basically manipulated the market down for Terra tokens to cause a cascade into UST. Now UST being partially backed by those Terra tokens, which are now worth significantly less, can't keep their one-to-one value and start losing it, which compounds the issue of Terra, and then the rest of the market will do the rest for you and tank the fucking entire price down. That is a lot easier to do than something like moving Ethereum. But once that has happened and all of this market was shook up, man, a lot of people withdrew their liquidity from some of these protocols, and the liquidity depth started to thin out. And now that it's so much thinner, it becomes a lot cheaper for me to push the price of Ethereum down. A lot cheaper being, you know, instead of 6 billion, I can do it for 3 billion now. Mm-hmm. So then now I can use $3 billion, push that price down, where I can see that these other much more legitimate protocol like tokens like Celsius and whatnot are over leveraging by going long Ethereum in what is now a bear market that's been like, what's it called? Like accelerated by this cascading sell-off through Terra. But Terra collapsed because of poor economics, not because of you know, somebody attacked it somehow that like shouldn't have been able to happen. It was like, no, the structure of how Terra maintains peg wasn't sound. It is assumed that there wasn't a single person with malicious intent with also $3 billion. Mm-hmm. And the fact that there was
a flawed assumption.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can't basically build a stable coin that is backed by an asset that can then lose its value or somehow fluctuate, which then will reflect on the stablecoin. It just doesn't work.
But yeah, and, I mean, to wrap up here, but I mean, I just feel like there's a lot. I think there's going to be more of these before they're like, this is going to get worse before it gets better. Of some of these protocols.
I'm thinking as like purely speculation right now. I think we're going to see like some of the big players in the space, possibly Binance, possibly FTX, one of those big exchanges, make a public announcement about bailing out some of these smaller money market liquidity protocols. So like I could see FTX being like, hey, we're going to lend, or we're going to like bail out what's it called? Like Celsius users. We're going to give them the liquidity that they need to give to their clients. Just to keep this market moving, basically. And I could see them announcing something like that and doing something like that just to like restore some retail investor faith into these products. Because if they can't eventually like give back the money that they've like locked up at this point, that would be devastating to a lot of people who, you know, got into this space through a trusted source like Celsius, which isn't like a fly-by-night nonsense thing. And I think it is in their best interest to kind of like prop each other up. And I think it's likely we see that happen this week. And the news like that could also rally these markets a little bit, get us back closer to that trend line. But yeah, it's a wild time.
But yeah, I mean, I guess the good part in at least a crypto world is that, you know, you aren't exclusively forced to use these centralized entities to participate in these markets. And I think that's part of the feature and the strength of a blockchain world and a blockchain and crypto money markets is that you can use these these centralized sources, and that there is pros to that, but it's not required. Whereas in traditional markets, it more or less is. You can't participate unless you go through centralized means, and you can't replicate what they offer you on the markets on your own. So there is a positive piece that now these centralized exchanges are getting exposed a little bit to, you know, in different ways, but you do have the ability to do so in a trustless system, if you would like, and so that gives you some potential protection about against getting wrecked that way.
I'm going to simulate Stream Raiders really quick. It's ready, and I minimize the screen for a second.
Do it. But yeah, it's interesting as hell. And it's really cool to see how interconnected all these like markets and their liquidities are. And the really cool thing that I find fascinating is like, man, these giant institutions with billions of dollars are just as degenerate as the rest of us. Like, they're over leveraging themselves. They're fucking like swinging into like this, like, you know,
leveraging they're doing it with hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, the funny thing is, like, you know, you can guarantee that similar leveraging is happening in traditional markets. The difference being it's not on chain. You can't see it, but you know it's happening. And it's still happening in crypto. But the difference being, you know, through, and it's not exactly easy. It's not everyone can just jump on like Block Explorer and start seeing all this stuff. Like, you have some know-how, but at least you can see and you can piece together, and you have the evidence and the paper trail to follow. So if every transaction was viewable for traditional markets, I have a feeling you'll see a lot of similarities and probably in a much bigger scale.
Yeah. But yeah, let's take a look at how our week's worth of farming Nifty pool has done. After we get the stream raider going here. But I feel like
it's good.
It's definitely interesting as hell to see all this stuff play out. And,
wait, Max, without going down the rabbit hole, can you maybe dive into this? The guy who runs Alcor could update his smart contract and steal all the liquidity from his DEX, unlike Ethereum with Wax smart contract aren't locked. I don't know. I'm going to hope that you can piece together some of that.
So I'm actually not 100% sure how the smart contracts on Alcor work. And if that is possible, I am not 100% sure on that. It might be. The thing about updating a contract for liquidity almost always requires a migration of that liquidity. So it would require a user input, at least on other smart chains. So I'm not as familiar with EOS.io, which is the like blockchain foundation that Wax is built on. And my understanding of like EVM models like Ethereum and most other smart chains are like the EVM, like the virtual machine, Ethereum virtual machine kind of like smart contract model. Those you would require a migration, so you would have to ask the user who owns the liquidity to sign a transaction. That transaction, you know, it could be dressed up as like if they rolled out an update and were like, oh, the withdrawal button now brings up the like migration transaction. So they could do malicious shit like that, and it's why it's important.
Alcor's never been audited, so we really don't know. Is probably
exactly. Yeah, I think Alcor, if you're on Alcor like here and you go to the docs, you can see usually an audit would be here, but I don't see any audits. Let's see, frequently asked questions. Yeah, it's kind of like use at your own risk, I would say, with Alcor. It's definitely I'm not 100% sure that they can't steal your liquidity. Same with like DeFi box or anything, but that's not because I think that, you know, they're malicious or possibly able to do it. It's that I just don't understand the smart contract infrastructure of EOS.io well enough to definitively answer that question.
Box is at least audited.
Box is at least audited, yeah, and the audits do say that that's not a point of failure. So I think the audit's most issue was kind of like the way that box tokens are like minted. It's not through like it's basically like they have an access to be able to mint on their own without having like either a vote or without having like a smart contract govern it, which is fine as long as they play fair.
DeFi Kingdoms too.
Yeah, DeFi Kingdoms had that thing, and then DeFi Kingdoms actually that was exploited, and you know, Jewel dropped from $20 to like 10 cents. But yeah, it's definitely important to be aware of those potential points of failures and be wary of them. Like, it's not inappropriate for you to ask that question and then be concerned about it until you get an answer from somebody who either you trust definitively knows what they're talking about, or you've vetted the stuff yourself. So definitely proceed with your, at your own risk here. But yeah, let's take a look at what we did with Nifty token, right? Or was that? I mean, I don't feel like I can answer that question super more thoroughly.
No, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, like I wish I knew more about EOSIO. I know that there is vulnerabilities that I'm aware of for EVM style blockchains that don't exist in EOSIO. So it's possible that this, just the way that smart contract standards work on EOSIO, that isn't actually an issue. But I think asking Recourier might be a better bet. He really understands this stuff, the tech stuff a little bit better for the EOSIO side, I think. Recourier over at Metaphors. But let's take a look at what we've done. Last week, we joined the liquidity pool here. So I made a wallet, DeFi1.ftw. I can go to earn rewards, and we added liquidity to the pool. So
since we started with 100 wax, then he sold half into Nifty, paired it, and then deposited the resulting LP tokens. Or I guess I don't think you need to deposit the tokens. You don't need to stake.
You create the liquidity and deposit all in the same transaction from here. So
okay. So
let's
I
see
guess
what this
we haven't touched it since last week. So this is 1 week of Nifty rewards on 100 wax.
Yeah, so I'm going to claim this one. And then let's unstake and take a look at what this is. To unstake and undo this position, just click the unstake button. It shows up my balance here, so I can say 100% and unstake the Nifty. There we go. And now if I come back over here, refresh on Alcor, we'll see, okay, I got 4 Nifty tokens deposited into my balance, which is worth 1.7 wax. And then if I come here and say minus liquidity now, you'll see the liquidity tokens have been returned to me. I can click minus here and then dial this switch all the way to the top, and there's my return. So I get 48 wax and 114 Nifty tokens. This would be worth, 48 times 2. So it's actually down a little from our 100 wax. And that tracks in line with
leaning towards the Nifty side of the pool.
Yeah, so you can see here over the week since we started last week, the price of Nifty is down about 5%. And so what happened is 50 wax against whatever amount of Nifty. The Nifty token fell 5%. So it was bought with the wax so that the value of both assets combined remained 1-to-1. So we sold some wax and bought more Nifty than we started. And that's why we're now seeing what would be, 48.1 times 2 instead of 50 times 2. So we can see here exactly what happened. We started with 49 wax and 110 Nifty. And now we have 48.1 wax and 114 Nifty. So let's just do some quick math here. 14. Oh, look, you can see as it's trading, you can see more. This number will update every trade that happens. But we've got, let's see, 1.68 for 3.94 Nifty. So let's see if we actually earned yield from just the trading back and forth. So if I take a look at what that Nifty token is worth that we've earned from the 1.64, and we've lost 1.68. So we were actually down 0.04-ish wax for having participated in this pool. But as you can see, we also earned 4 Nifty tokens and we made 1.7. So this is actually a net gain of this amount minus the 0.04. So we would be right now we've made over the last week, we made about 1.66 wax off of 100. So that's like 1.5% in 1 week. Just pretty fucking good. That's not bad. Like, so what I was thinking is we could do this for another week and see where we're at, or we could take this time now to like pull out of wax and maybe move into some other position. Like if we wanted to try short selling Ethereum, we could move to a different blockchain to do that, and we could walk through doing that, or we could switch the position to do, you know, US dollars and wax instead of Nifty and wax. Right now, I might want to get a picture of how Nifty is doing in terms of wax, and we can do that here by just going to the Nifty wax market side. And then this is also using TradingView, so you can just click up here on indicators and then type BB and get the Bollinger Bands and add similar deals like what we were looking at the other day on the other market. So here we can also do OBV and take a look at if money is now moving into or leaving. And you can see, lately, quite a bit of a sell-off on OBV, even though the price isn't falling that aggressively. This is a bearish indicator. So if we wanted to protect our position in terms of wax, it might not be the worst idea to move out of the liquidity pool in the short term until this starts making higher highs again instead of lower lows and lower highs. And then once that happens, we can migrate back in. So I guess unless someone else has an opinion, I'm going to suggest let's pull some of this liquidity out. You can see here, let's see. Yeah, okay. It's quite a bit. So it looks like a lot of money went into the system while people were farming, and then like now people are starting to like pull out a little bit. It's still like we're looking in the 4 hours, so you know it's not like it's a little noisy when you zoom that far in. Here we go. On the 1 day though, we are seeing like an on-balance volume drastically below.
Tune was asking, how do you see your liquidity on Alcor? I only see that on the Nifty rewards page.
Oh, on Alcor. So the way I can see my liquidity here is if you go to the swap and then click minus liquidity, but you have to have unstaked the liquidity from here. So first thing we go unstake 100%, and then you can do this during. You see right now it's a 124. If you restake it before 2 p.m., you won't even miss any of your rewards. So if you're just trying to see what you have, you can easily do that. And then there's also, if you say, I think if you say minus liquidity, it might read out what your position is worth here. I'm not 100% sure now that I've withdrawn it. But for sure, if you come here to provide liquidity, withdraw the liquidity, and then come back over to Alcor, it will still be in liquidity token form over here. And that's what we're looking at. But yeah, let's pull it out and see what let's pull this out, sell the Nifty side, and then see what we're at with oh right, of course, out of fucking CPU. So this is a nice way. I gotta stake some CPU to my wallet that I haven't actually staked any from.
Nathan also asked, does this take into account the swaps or not? The thing that takes into account the swaps would be the fees, the earning fees that Max calculated. Those are what you earn from the swaps.
This is what we're seeing right here. This is where you can calculate your fees from swaps. It'll show you what you initially deposited and what you currently have. So we've earned 4.9 or so Nifty from swaps, but we've also lost 1.8 wax to compensate for those swaps on the wax side. So the difference between those two numbers is what we've earned in yield from the 0.3% liquidity sourcing fee, which you can see denominated here when you do a trade. So that's why it's kind of a difficult equation to do, but it gets way more tricky when you start withdrawing and then re-adding liquidity, because this number will start updating based on the lifetime of the wallet, not based on the last deposit and last withdrawal. So it does get really kind of convoluted trying to understand it just by looking at these numbers, especially once you've, started withdrawing and adding to them. But yeah, for now, I was going to add some. I got to stake a little bit more to this wallet. So I went over to blocks. I'm going to copy the name of my wallet, and then we click on wallet here. I'm going to log into, I'm going to say add account, launch Anchor, and I'm going to do this from first.ftw, which is another hot wallet I have. I'm using that because I have Wax on it. Let's see. Okay, yeah, I didn't click it the first time. So first.ftw.
Also asked, on the chart showing the money flowing in and out, does that show the people using the swaps? And that'd be yes if you look at the volume. The volume shows what money is moving through the swaps.
Yeah, the on-balance volume is only tracking the here, if we go to markets and we look at on-balance volume, it's only tracking this market and this pair. But if you want, here we go. So when we looked at that a second ago and we added the OBV metric here, this metric is only showing this order books. Like all of these transactions are plotted into this graph, basically. So if you want to see value moving into or out of the swap side, you need to go to the swap under the swap tab. And then you can down here change over to liquidity. And then you can see this is liquidity in terms of Nefty. So Nefty tokens are currently being sold out of this pool. But now if I swap to Wax, I want to see Wax climbing. Yoink. Oh, okay, and Wax is also kind of... Oh, no, that's Nefty now. So that was Wax. Yeah, so you can see we're losing 6% of the Wax side of the pool was pulled from liquidity in the last 7 days. And 0.5, so both sides going down a little bit. So that means liquidity is leaving this market as well. So that means not only it's not that people are just using their Nefty to buy Wax, it's that people are doing that and some people are pulling liquidity because this is going down on both sides. So if we looked at, let's say, another like Neon token, for example, Neon token on the Wax side, you can see Wax is entering, and then you would probably see the opposite of that, exact opposite of that happening here. So that's why you can see one side is green and one side is red. This is, normal function of a swap. And then if we see here on Nefty, the Wax leaving the pool a little bit in the last 7 days, and then also the Nefty leaving the pool a little bit means there's a bit of an exodus. But again, we're looking at 0.5% and like 6%. And then here, if we go to like a 30-day metric, that's not outside of the norm to see that type of a swing with volume moving out. And you can see here, Nefty token generally is moving in. And when we go back to the Wax, this is only showing the Wax side of the pool. So what we're seeing here is that there is 1,089,000 Wax, 89,586 Wax in this pool, paired against the equivalent in Nefty, which is 2.6 million. So, or not even 2.6, what is that? 26? No, yeah, 2.6 million. Yeah. So what that means is this pool is like 2 million Wax deep. Like there's still a shit ton of Wax in here. If we go to all time as well, this is very nice to see. Just the liquidity pouring into this pool. And you can see this is about where they started incentivizing that liquidity. It's really attracting some value into it. So over the last 7 days, yeah, we can see by looking at these charts that there is liquidity leaving the swap pool. But over the last 30 days and kind of it looks pretty like, steady climb. And then over the all-time chart, we can always see like this is still very much like it's kind of doing a what's that called? Like a flattening out, like tabling out. So that seems reasonable to me at 2 million Wax depth. Like that's, I don't know that this should just keep aggressively climbing, But yeah, it's nice to be able to see that anyway. So you can see it here, and then you can also go zoom in a little closer, and you can see here, and in the last 24 hours, we're actually adding some liquidity on the wax side, and losing some on the adding some on the Nifty side as well. So liquidity is deepening in the last day, and becoming more shallow in the last 7 days, which you can even see here on the last wick of that. But yeah, that's how you check that one. And now to remote stake, I was going to add a stake from FTW to the wallet here. So I'm going to say paste to the wallet that I want to actually stake to. Oh, not transfer, but instead stake CPU. Receiver of stake is going to be DeFi.1, and then I can do like 25 wax to CPU and say stake. There we go. And now when I come back over to this wallet, I should have the CPU stake to do what I wanted to do, which was remove the liquidity. So there we go. 48, getting 114. And success. And now I can come to swap. And 49. I think we might be right back around 100 after this. A little over, possibly. Yoink. Oh no, a little bit more slippage than expected. So 98, 97,99999 is what we're left with right now. So let's take this and either participate in like a US dollar like pool where we pair it with dollars and see how that does compared to the Nifty pool, or move it into like a money market protocol chain and short sell some Ethereum. I think. What do you think is a better move? Let's compare it to the USDT, for example, and just see how it would perform if we do USDT. And there's Wax USDC. Let's see what these pools are doing. So this pool, for example, not very deep. 800 wax on the wax side. And what's this guy? Only $39 worth of UST on the UST side. Let's see if we can find like USDC. Oh, here we go. Wax USDT. That's more like it. USDT. Okay, so I see. Okay, so what we were looking at this one is from a different wallet. You see how it has in the small text here, Biosdo or whatever. I'm not sure who's issuing this USDT token, but what I'm looking for is the ETH.token, which is the token issued by the Wax wallet bridge. So a second ago, we were looking at this USDT token. That's not the USDT token that I could bridge back over to Ethereum if I wanted to. This one is. So let's try participating in liquidity here. So we have 98. So let's do what would it be like 45 would get me to 90. So 45, 46.5 should be about half of that. And that's about right. It was almost $8.50 or something when we bought the 100 wax when we started this. So let's participate and let's take a look actually what the volume is in a pool like this and if it's going to be worth participating at all. Okay, quite a bit of volume here. So 4,000 wax. Let's see. Let's turn this into dollars so you can get a easier understanding of how much dollars moving through this pool. $387, $400 here. So it's like, okay, there's a decent amount of money over the week that moved through this pool. And then let's take a look at the current price is one wax is selling for 9 cents, basically 9.7 cents here. So if I'm doing 46 and a half wax, I would get 4.48. This is not the only place I can buy USDT. So let's see if we can get a better deal. I'm going to go back to markets And then on cross chain here, we can see USDT and wax. Let's see what the current going rate here is. 9.5 cents. That's a little bit more expensive than at the others at the swap, which was 9.4, I think. Or was that better? Let's see, 9.5. Get up there. There we go. Swap. Let's try this one more time and see what the swap says. 9.7. Yeah, so it is a better deal to straight up just go over to the market and buy it. But let's check another swap so we can
Thank you for the raid, Dargu Gaming. We appreciate it. I'm also not paying attention to anything you're saying, Max. I'm super sidetracked. I don't know if this is on the rails or not. I will say we've been going for an hour and 30 minutes, so usually.
Yeah, we're just trying to source. Let's see, 46.5.
I don't want to tell people to not watch our stream, but Travis from fucking Bad Crypto just popped into burst chat. Like, I heard there's some people that don't like us here, and it's getting spicy, and I love it. I'm throwing fire. I'm putting gasoline right on that fire. So
that's hilarious. Wait, so what's the next move, Max? So you did the liquidity.
Yeah, let's supply liquidity to wax, tether, and then keep us that way. If the wax market continues to fall with the rest of the market for this week, we should be able to get more wax than dollars on the side. And let's compare that to the 1 week of participating in the Nifty token.
Oh, I see. So you're testing different LP positions against each other in a 1 week time frame.
So the cheapest bet right now was to buy directly from here.
I like that you call it a bet. It's a bid. It's a bid.
Yeah.
You can bet with your bids.
Yeah. Let's see. Buy wax.
Little crypto 50%. Casino over here.
Let's see. I want to sell some wax. 50% here. Hey, come on. It should be.
I'm pretty amped about the new common blockchain brawler. I'm glad that played out, by the way. I'm sidetracking real quick, but I just saw someone post that in our Discord.
I called it pretty good. I thought they were going to introduce a new character, but they reintroduced Scotty as Bad Scotty instead of Good Scotty, and he costs like half the amount to craft now.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Anyway, back on track.
Bad Scotty. So in order to participate in this pool, I just sourced, half of my wax into this USDT. I'm going to go plus, and then I'm going to click the USDT side. It's going to add the wax and the Nifty, or the wax and the USDT into the pool, say provide liquidity. And because this position doesn't have a incentive pool that I need to then stake the liquidity to, that's the end of the process. Now in my wallet, I have here my positions.
You own 0.33% on $5 or $10.
Oh yeah. So now I'm gonna refresh really quick so that it actually updates my.
That's a really shallow pool.
Yeah, exactly. So I own 0.33% of this pool now, and you can see there's 44 wax that we started with. $4.3 dollars, so it's like $8-ish total. A small negative on both sides right now because of fees involved with entering and exiting pools. Sometimes this happens. It's not necessarily true. Sometimes it's just the display of that. But either way, I'm gonna see where this is next week. I also still have, I think, 8 wax left, or 6.5 wax left, which I'll sit on for this week, I think, and wait and see what happens with this liquidity pool. But let's see next week when we come back if we can get back to 100 or over 100 with this, and then adjust our position another time and see if we want to go back into the Nifty rewards pool, or if we want to then take the money and move it into some other blockchain to do something more aggressive potentially. It might be a nice little step-by-step instructional thing to move wax from wax over to any other chain and see how that works.
Yeah, I think for context on this experiment, similar to what Chain Champs has done, it was like turning 100 wax into 1,000 wax or something like that. You want to turn like $10 into $1,000 or whatever. That was all NFT trades. Specifically, Max is trying to grow this 100 wax in only token trades or token approaches. So there is no NFTs being introduced into this deliberately. So it is only through DeFi positions, trading tokens back and forth, all on the fungible side. So there is a reason why, if we're trying to like grow this little pot here, it's particularly on the token side and not the NFT trading side.
Yeah. And right now I got if the wax falls from where it was at 8, so we bought in at like 9 cents. If wax falls, then the dollar side of this will be used to buy more wax. So that's what we want. We want more wax at the moment because we like wax. But yeah, that's kind of a nice little overview of like what I feel like the markets are doing and what we can do within them to participate in DeFi. So far, all on wax, but we'll move into like other DeFi chains and positions later on because there's definitely a whole world of stuff out there.
Yeah, and like bridging other chains, I feel like you got to get a little bit of a bigger pot to play with, so you don't, depending on how much it would cost to bridge to another blockchain.
That'll also be the thing. Like,
we can look at your little safe haven of wax. The fees are more of a variable you got to keep in mind.
You can get to Harmony pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I wouldn't mind trying to do that just to show that you can do that with $10. Like, you don't have to have more.
You send it to KuCoin, swap it for 1, and then the withdrawal fee from 1 on KuCoin is super cheap.
Yeah, it's like 3 cents or something. Yeah, and we can walk through something like that because that's definitely like something that isn't super straightforward and maybe isn't necessarily like there's not like a tutorial out there like how do I move wax from one blockchain to another, or at least not one that's just like let's walk through it and if you have a question you can chime in and I'll help you figure out how to do it, because it's not impossible. It's very doable. But yeah, what's the salt level of what's the salt level going on?
Yeah, that's got to get real spicy.
I'm going to focus on the stream now, but I'll check back in on that later.
So was it Joel or was it Travis or was it like
Travis?
Okay, because usually they've kind of taken a step back from wax and it's just Joel's son.
There's a fuck Joel sticker. I put the fuck Joel sticker on like immediately after he joined the group. Joel and Travis are the Blockchain Heroes creators. They do the Bad Crypto podcast. And they charge new creators to their podcast like hundreds of dollars in NFTs, and they never give them away to their community. And they've also been caught selling those below the floor of the projects and like tanking the aftermarket of the projects that are giving them to them.
Yeah, they either sit on them and never open them and then flip them later, or just dump them immediately. Either way, it's just fucking ridiculous.
They've also launched like 10 projects on Wax and made a ton of money. So it's like they don't need to be charging people.
Dude,
for that.
Joel's Twitter is super fucking weird. His son's super weird. I don't know. Like, I mean, to each their own on their beliefs. But the guy says some weird
weirdos. Fuck those guys.
Yeah. So his Twitter is not like all crypto NFTs. He gets into some weird conspiracy theories and politics and stuff. So I always just kind of to see his like 3 a.m. dump texts or what.
They moved out of the U.S. so they didn't have to pay taxes. They moved to like a tax haven. Like, fuck those guys.
That's super ridiculous.
Yeah, they have some sort of shell LLC offshore. Yeah.
No, they actually physically moved there.
Oh, that's why they do. Aren't they like in Cuba or like Puerto Rico or something weird like that?
Yeah, they're in one of those places that people go to dodge taxes.
Joel and Travis do the Blockchain Heroes, and then they also do the Nifty Show Bad Crypto podcast.
The Bro Bros was them that like
Bitcoin Origins is another one.
I don't think it's Bitcoin Origins. I thought it was like Bitcoin. It's the one with those weird fucking spinny coins that was in our planet. That's not Bitcoin.
Oh no, Bitcoin Elite. That's what it was.
Bitcoin Elite, complete shit project. But like they pumped a bunch of projects through our planet and then didn't vote any of them back in after the fucking voting thing happened. We made $0 selling stuff to get into our planet, and we voted our collection with our own money. So we actually care about our community.
And then what's his son does like Draco Dice or whatever, right?
And Draco Dice is his son. And I stayed the far fuck away from that project. But I don't know. I've avoided anything they've touched because Burst told us to. But they did a lot more shit before we even came to Wax, because they're one of like the very first people on Wax. So I would ask Burst if you want like a detailed history of what they're doing. Like by the time
I remember they did an interview with the Blue Wizard on their podcast too. That was like way back. Yeah, way back in the day. So they basically gave him a platform for WizCoin too, and just blew smoke up his ass. And then WizCoin was a huge rug pull. Yeah. Is he doing another token too?
Yeah, he already launched it. I think he's literally said he has 175 tokens. Like if I read that post correctly, and he's like, yeah, I'm just hedging by creating a bunch, and one of them will take off. I think it's
just hedging all my schemes by having a bunch of them.
That's crazy.
If I can grift 175 projects at a time, I get a better return. What a fucking idiot.
It's like if I just keep launching tokens, one of them will eventually do well. It's not that I need to put the work into making the project worthwhile. It's that the tokens will just gain value.
Yeah, it's not that the token needs to do something. I just need to put out a bunch that people will pretend it does something.
That's wild. Yeah, I think that's a big misconception in this space is just like, oh yeah, if you just keep doing shit, eventually like doing the same shit, eventually something will happen differently. Like shit coins are shit coins. Like the reason tokens, like the reason that I buy tokens is because I want to use them for whatever the fucking utility is. Like staking them for like a cut of the money market, or for like voting rights, or for, you know, using them in a video game. I don't know. Like there's a point to owning a token. Otherwise, I don't know, I can just own USDC.
Yeah, well, you know, I think the other misconception to people that are new to the space is that it's not hard to make a token. You know, you can make just some complete empty minted token on a blockchain. So, you know, you don't need like some sort of smart contract distribution model. You could probably in like 15 minutes go to some random exchange on a chain and mint some, you know, butt coin, or well, I guess butt coin's already a thing. So
that's been a thing for years.
Mint whatever token. It's relatively easy. And then if you just kind of shill it or market it, you can theoretically pretty simply grift your way into pumping a token value.
I mean, people are doing it all the time on Wax. Look at all those weird weed and like those shit coins that are literally like EOSIO. It's super cheap to mint a token, and there's services that'll do it for you.
It takes very little know-how and very little time.
Here, share my screen really quick. Look at this. This is what I think is really interesting when it comes to like tokenomics.
Steppen on fucking Alcor. Like Steppen is a real token on another chain. Somebody just minted one called Steppen on Wax, and then they wash traded a shit ton of volume through it and ended up getting blacklisted or like scam coined or whatever. But like, it's not hard to make a fake coin and then make it look like people are trading it and get randos to buy it and then just wreck the liquidity.
Yeah. Like, let's see, looking at some of these tokens, let's see, what are like LFG token. What's this one doing?
I'm also not used to seeing people chat on YouTube. What's going on, Rock and Louie? People usually exclusively watch us on Twitch, which also we're about to do a giveaway in a second, and you cannot join the giveaway on YouTube. So if you would like to join the NFT giveaway, you should watch on Twitch, because we are Twitch integrated for the giveaways. Like if you do exclamation point play on YouTube, it's not linked to our giveaway game.
From Louie to Louie.
Here's kind of like what I wanted to see. Let's see. It's like where did I put here? Neon token still has like a decent amount of liquidity, but then you look at its price line and it's just like, there you go, since inception, or since it was added to DeFi box. And it's because the tokenomics don't just print more tokens, and as the price of Wax is falling, the like value that it takes to make those tokens in terms of Wax didn't change. So like Wax is cheaper and the token price climbs. It's weird that like every other token that like, it's like, oh, how come the token is falling? It's like, I don't know, because it's just printed out of thin air. Like there's many tokens out there that like, you know, like Aether gets printed pretty hard. What the fuck happened to their graph?
Yeah,
I can see it. But
the Dink Doink song still gets stuck in my head, though.
I want to be clear that we don't think people should buy our coin as investment.
That's for sure.
Use case of the Neon token, well, one is arbitrage, but the only thing you can do with the Neon token is you can turn it back into a Neon blend token, and you can blend it into new artwork. So if you're not interested in collecting our artwork, there's no use for the token. And we do give LP rewards, but like we're giving you the ability to get more artwork, or I guess you could swap it into Wax, but like, I don't know. It's not meant to moon. It's tethered to the price of our floor. It's not going to fucking like 10x anytime soon. So don't buy our token just to buy our token.
Yeah, it's meant to be an off-ramp and an ability to get new artwork.
Yeah, it's just it's interesting that
it's almost like a Neon stable coin. I don't
know. Like this one kind of came up when when wax comes down. It's just fun to see like the differences between how like different
I want to play the
tokens.
Dink Doink music video.
Dude, it's very catchy. I don't think it's catchy as buying the dip, but
I'm gonna remove your screen, Max.
I
think most people know that most game tokens on wax are fucking tanking. Like, I don't think you need to show examples of that.
Yeah, but I feel like the thing about it is like tokenomics can make a token not tank.
Dink doink, you're my favorite coin. Want you to dink on my face, take a doink on my chest. Yeah, yeah. Dink doink, you're my favorite coin.
my neighbors
Why don't
must
you
think I'm the
come
strangest
on
person.
over, take pictures of my feet. Yeah, yeah. Dink doink, you're my favorite coin. Why don't you take my little sister to the prom? Don't doink her, please. Dink doink, you're my favorite coin. You're my favorite coin. You're my favorite coin. Dink doink, you're my favorite coin. My girlfriend says thank you for all the new girlfriends. Yeah, dink doink at an all-time high. What is really high when you keep getting higher? Yeah, dink doink, you're my favorite coin. You turn my wallet into a penthouse. Yeah, dink doink, you're my favorite coin. We're going to the moon. Yeah, we're going to the moon. Yeah, yeah. Dink doink, you're my favorite coin. Want you to dink on my face and take a doink on my chest. Yeah, yeah. Dink doink, you're my favorite coin. Why don't you?
Wasn't that a Logan Paul thing or a Jake Paul? I always get him confused. But
It's one of the Paul brothers. It was an open rug pull. He also played it off as if like he didn't know who the creator is. Like, I found this new coin, and he's the fucking creator of the token. So he like totally misled people into thinking he found a new project and then advertised it, and then they like rugged all the liquidity. So
yeah, and then it went to shit. He could plead ignorance, like, "Oh, I got screwed too, guys."
Yeah. Didn't he go bankrupt?
I think they're doing fine.
Take my sister to the prom, but please don't doink her. It's pretty damn funny song.
I think it's Baggy Hodler that sent us this. Should we give her this funny cat? Does anybody know how funny cat works? It's like a game, I think, right? Let's check this out real quick. There's an alpha. There's some sort of games. I don't know how the game works. Oh, here we go. How to play. Get a cat.
Oh, there you go. Well, you're on step 2. You got a cat. Now you just got to play an adventure.
But yeah, he sent it to us to give away, so we'll give it away. I think it's kind of just like a staking or click mining game. I don't think there's much of a game, but also, I mean, I
About
don't
on
know.
par with most. Man, this age of farming thing, Jesus Christ.
Baggy Hodler says there's plenty of utility. Was it you that you sent it, right, Baggy? So maybe you can inform us, because I do think if people understand what you can do with it, they're less likely to immediately sell it. So, yeah, if you want to inform us.
Staking, blending type game.
It's Unity. How many cats this is not going to go well. I don't know the logistics of this, but I feel like if we actually want to get views on our new series, we should be clipping the 100 wax part separately than the rest of like the hour-long tech talk before that.
Okay.
Yeah,
that was
good. That's a good call.
Mark more than anybody.
Yeah, make it its own category or like playlist or whatever.
It's got sound.
Ooh.
So I don't have any cats in this wallet, but this is actually a pretty nice interface. Yeah, it looks like you can stake 5 cats and you get cat coin or catnip or something. But
Gotta
you
get that
coin
nip,
also
baby.
there we go. So yeah, if you get this giveaway that we're doing, you can immediately have skin in the game. You can stake that cat and then start earning. And then I think you can maybe buy more cats with it. Let's check the shop. Yeah, using the catnip and the cat coin, you can buy new cats. You can even buy packs, which is pretty cool. And what's the other? Some stickers. So yeah, you can get a stake in the game, and then you can compound your earnings into getting more cats if you're interested in that sort of thing. There are 3 jungle and 3 space cats locations for staking. So I guess you get different types of cats, and they stake in the different locations as well. That's kind of cool. Because I'm in the jungle right now, and if you want to open the other locations, it costs cat coin, but then you can stake and increase your output. So you can kind of progress through the game that way, it looks like.
Oh.
Let's see what the cats look like too, so we can show those off. Template. Was this the one that had like Marvel and DC things and got almost blacklisted for that, and then they just like made a burn where they're like, burn all of our Marvel and DC stuff and then
Save us from getting sued.
Yeah. I think that might have been them, but I don't know. That might have been a different cat project. Yeah, it looks like there's jungle and space cats so far, and as we saw, there's more zones. They'll probably add more cats. But that's my limited knowledge of what's going on with this project. But our first giveaway for today will be Luna in space. Pretty tight mint structure too. There's only 382 of these, and 335 after the 47 burned. Let me start.
Oh, they made a new collection after that.
Oh, they made a new collection. Okay.
That's what Baggy's saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy into it unless you're interested in collecting the artwork, because the game just allows you to collect more of the artwork. So if you like the cats and think they're cool, get into it. If you don't, there's probably not a lot of reason to be earning the token that can only buy you more cats.
Oh, he said that there's a place you can play without having a cat.
They also said they give weekly rewards for providing liquidity, so probably like us with the Wax and Neon, they do. We can do the wiki.funnycat. Why not? Let's go through the white paper a little bit.
Yeah, poke around.
I should also say, obviously I'm researching this live. I've done no research on the team. This is a rug pull. I don't fucking know, so I'm brand new to this, and I'm not encouraging people to buy it necessarily. I'm just trying to explain what the item we're giving away is, because, yeah, I don't know. Cat, connect the wallet. So it's just got all the different cat coin rewards on here. You have to lock it for a certain amount of hours. In-game shop. There's 100, what is that, 100 billion? Max supply of 100 billion cat for cat coin. And that is that a trillion, I think? And that's used to replenish the energy of cards and buy new cards. You can do wax/cat on Alcor and get rewards. Is that music coming from? I guess that's actually the music. I got really confused by what music was playing right now. I was like, what is this music? But it's from my other tab. That's kind of cool. Yeah, if you're into that sort of stuff, it is what it is. Oh, and there's also blending. If you get, it looks like 6 of these promos, they blend into a high rarity. Kind of reminds me of like a little bit of like the Zendodo style thing. There's blending, there's staking. It looks like they have a nice little economy built. I wouldn't buy it exclusively for ROI, but if you like the cats and want to earn more cats, it seems like a pretty good way to do that.
Yeah, it seems like a good way to get some space cats.
Pretty much all game tokens sort of end up collapsing, it seems like. So yeah, I wouldn't buy it just to try to get an ROI on the token. But again, I don't really buy into most games anymore because I'm expecting to earn my money back. I've learned my lesson the hard way on way too many games to be like, if I want to play the game, I buy into it. If I like the artwork, I buy into it. But I'm not buying into stuff just because I think I can make my money back and get rich off of wax games. So it's a gamble, and I've lost a lot of gambles.
I'm way interested in doing that next bull run again. When everything starts pumping, then fuck yeah, dude, it's time to play some blockchain games for ROI. But in the meantime, I'm gonna play those same games just for fun, or the ones that I do play.
Let's see. Condoc said he stopped playing it because it ate up quite a bit of your CPU. That was a while ago, though. They might have optimized the smart contract. I don't know anything about that. So I haven't played it. I'm gonna do the Marvel intro. It gets kind of loud. So if you have sensitive ears or your volume's cranked in headphones, you might want to turn it down temporarily. But here we go.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Oh, here you go, Max. You called it. Sid just posted Sam from FTX bailing out BlockFi. And then there's some rumors on that he may be behind some of the 3AC Celsius stuff, but that's unconfirmed. But the BlockFi stuff, there is some stuff on Twitter about it. So you called it. Sid posted this like half hour.
I told my dad that like yesterday too. I was like, it's pretty likely that one of these like big guys is gonna bail out the little ones, cause a little rally in crypto.
The FTX marketing is through the roof, dude. I don't know much about FTX, but man, they put out some serious advertising.
Oh yeah,
that's big money. Play if you want to join the giveaway. This is for the cat sticker.
I heard Matt Damon was getting like flack for his like being the face of crypto.com. Crypto.com, I feel like the crypto.com scandal, which was like nothing compared to what we've experienced over the last few months, but that was like where they nerfed the shit out of the rates on their cash back for their credit cards.
Yeah,
like preemptively expecting like a bear market. It was like their whole thing. It's like, oh, it's not going to be sustainable if we keep this up. We have to like nerf it. And a bunch of people got like super pissed, and rightfully so, because you have to lock your CRO tokens for like an amount of time to access those rates they were advertising.
Yeah, so they're kind of nerfing. They're pulling utility while you're already locked. Yeah.
So that was bullshit. But like comparatively to what's happened in like people getting their full on like withdrawals suspended and like operations of like network like of things like Celsius just like grinding to a full stop. It's pretty like lightweight scandal.
Yeah, that's small potatoes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much Matt Damon particularly is into crypto, but they're just like, hey, dude, we're gonna pay you an ass load of money to just say some nonsense like fortune favors the bold and just be Matt Damon about it. Like, I mean, I don't blame him. That's like
I love that people do that. I love that
Hollywood to a T. Like, okay, yeah, I'll say whatever you want for the right price, baby.
It's like I bought this because Matt Damon said so.
Did Crypto.com say the stake rates are flexible? If you lock your tokens, did they say there's a chance it can change? So that would.
I'm not sure. Probably in the fine print. I'm not like I imagine.
At that point, I feel like it's on you for not understanding how the protocol works.
Yeah, I mean, if they didn't, I'm sure they'll get sued. But I feel like they do things very above board. Man.
I mean, when you lock your Tranquil, it doesn't like the APY changes on that. You're not guaranteed the lock trank rate that you go in forever. So like
it's also like API based on the value of Tranquil at the moment too. So like when Tranquil was worth $1 and the API was 100%, that's a fuck ton of money versus when it's worth 2 cents and it's 100%. Like
ooh, John Weed.
It's super variable.
You hate to see it.
But yeah, I mean, people still get pissed off, and I get it. I feel like when you have a credit card as your product, it seems a little bit, there's a higher expectation of like not having the utility rugged on you like that.
Man, it should also be more clear if it's only in the fine print, not like this is a flexible rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That was like pretty much the issue that like people had with crypto.com, and like a big part of what sparked like the sell-off of the CRO token value too. That combined with like some collapsing DeFi infrastructure on their blockchain, like the Mad Meerkats Finance is like the biggest DEX on the chain, and they also had like some pretty big fiascos.
Man, that Matt Damon commercial for Crypto.com, I have no idea that's a crypto commercial until the very end too. It's like such a weird commercial because he's just kind of like talking about big grandiose moments in history, and then it's just like, anyway, Crypto.com. He could have read that whole script and then left, and then they just slapped the Crypto.com thing at the very end, and he'd have no idea what the fuck he was even endorsing. Although
I like
the FTX with Larry David.
Larry David, yeah. Where he's like, nope, it's not for me.
like the guy with the wheel. It's like, it just doesn't. I don't get it.
Yeah, and then he's
Congrats
doing like
to Ben Purple, winner of the cat.
He's doing the like
I don't know if anybody's buying fucking anything because a celebrity endorses it, they're dumb. Like do you hold celebrities the same standard for food if you like they're advertising some food and you don't like the food, or if like a celebrity's endorsing a car fucking dealership and your car breaks down, you blame the celebrity for that?
What's her face? Gwyneth Paltrow does some weird stuff where she like endorses a bunch of like beauty products or like plant-based things and say it has these health benefits when it doesn't. I was pretty turned off by that because I really like her in the Marvel and like Iron Man, but oof, man, she's a real shiller with some of her like, you know, hippie products or whatever.
I only vote for politicians that are endorsed by celebrities. That's how I get all of my opinions on everything because I'm a fucking sheep.
Oh man, dude, that I'm just laughing thinking about that Larry David one too. They're all like signing the Declaration of Independence. Like, really, guys? I don't think it's that bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. I wonder if he's gonna get flack for
Goop. That's what it is. It's some like beauty product, but they just make a bunch of unfounded claims.
Doesn't she have like a vagina candle? Isn't that her too? Isn't that part of Goop?
Yeah, she does. She has like a candle that's supposed to smell like her vagina.
That's not a scent that I'm trying to air around.
I mean, good for you that you have good like hygiene. I don't really need to buy it. I mean, you know, I'm glad you shower and stuff. Good for you.
A real thing? Does it just smell like sex, or what does it smell like?
I don't think it just.
We don't have the candle, Max. We don't know.
Yeah,
I haven't bought it.
You can buy one and let me know, but I'm not
I feel like that's the type of smell that you air out of a room, not like fill a room with on purpose.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know. A bunch of Sims will buy it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I got pepper pods.
I'm going to McDonald's before my basketball game. I saw MJ do a commercial for that. Yeah, I got Fruit of the Loom underwear because of Michael Jordan, and now there's a hole in it, so I'm going to fucking sue Michael Jordan. Fuck Michael Jordan. I have holes in my underwear.
Michael Jordan, dude. I trusted you, man. Man. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely crazy to see all the like fallout from like. I really hate to see all the like comments of people who have like their money stuck or who lost a bunch of shit, and like a lot of people are like,
oh my God.
like understandably mad, but I feel like at the wrong stuff.
Matt Damon is just the wrong person to be mad about in that entire. A lot of people to be mad about. Matt Damon is not one of them. He's fucking making
Matt
money.
Damon.
He does. He reads scripts written by other people. That's his job.
Yeah.
It's like getting mad at an actor for like the content in a movie. That's the writer, not the fucking actor. Like, also the
there's
director.
like different ones. This is crazy. So it literally. Oh my god, this is so insane. It's like we don't get pulled for this, but like, it literally says on the candle, "This smells like my vagina." And then there's this smells like my prenup. Oh my god, this is like it's so
Does it
insane.
smell like paper? Like what does that even
paper?
mean?
Yeah, what?
Well, I kind of thought prenup was more of like a legal thing that like basically you have an agreement on before you get married.
That's
I
exactly
don't know
what
if
it
that's
is.
also something.
I
related.
understand what a prenup is, but what does that smell like? That smells.
That's
like
what I'm
paper.
wondering too. So I don't know if I'm just confusing things and maybe there's something related to like, you know, pregnancy or something, but
It's like an afterbirth, but a pre-birth.
yeah.
Oh shit, we only have one dungeon hat left.
Oh, Kim Kardashian Kourtney Kardashian is apparently a partner.
Oh, I'll
Like-
definitely buy one then.
Is there like a candle, like maybe there's
Sold.
some candle scientist and he's like getting in there. He's like, hold on, I gotta get like I gotta waft it in. He's like
A candle
and then
scientist.
goes to his little candle laboratory here. Let me just. That's it. There we go. We're there. We found it.
Just like side by side with the vagina, like.
Whoever
Yeah,
wins this
that's it.
race is going to get the.
The match.
Whoever wins this race is going to get the double hat. You'll get the visor level 1 and also the party hat level 0. The visor actually has stats in the game. The party hat does not. It's cosmetic. But he said later you'll be able to wear cosmetics separately than your items that give you stats. So you should be able to use both these. Or if you want to sell them, do that. Do whatever you want to. They're your NFTs if you win them. Let's do another race. I also want to promote this cake project, but we've been streaming for so long, I feel like I'll probably just do that tomorrow. The bummer about doing tech on Tuesday is like a lot of shit happens in between Saturday and Tuesday, and then I feel like we don't get to talk about it much. But
There's also the new Wax game.
yeah, there's a Wax Studios launched a new game. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
Oh, that music one, yeah.
yeah, that's cool. Looks like, I mean, it looks like a clicker, sure, but like I'm interested in the like.
I'm pretty into music, so they're gonna fucking suck me into that for sure. I also think I'll get a pack for being an ambassador, so it makes it a lot easier to fucking play than having to deal with whatever whitelist shit they do. But definitely, they'll let us know if there's a whitelist and how that stuff works. Like, or I will be promoting it as an ambassador for sure. They've already posted it in the ambassador chat. They also sent me a message today about something super exciting that I'm not at liberty to talk about, but I'm excited about it.
Oh man, I'm gonna check our email.
There's a DM, and if Larcy isn't talking to you, you didn't get one.
Shit.
I still gotta get her friend.
I don't know why she didn't add you as friends. I literally DM'd her with your usernames and said, "Please accept these friend requests." And then Max said she did.
No, she accepted my friend request, and I reached out to her and I was like, hey, like, how does this work on getting a badge? Blah blah blah. And she's like, oh, it's so exciting. Thanks for everything you guys do. And then she got my email and my wallet and never sent me anything. So I'm sure there's a bunch of new ambassadors that are coming through there. I think they're really leaning into the program as of late. So I'm sure it's just catch up or whatever.
It took like a full week or more for me to get my badge. I don't know if you remember me being like, until I see it, I don't believe it. I guess it's just weird she didn't add Max as a friend. She doesn't like Max.
She doesn't
yeah,
like
I mean, I think it's just like she just forgets. But yeah, but she's really nice. So we'll see. But it does seem like there's a fair amount of new people that are rolling through that Discord, and like, so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bunch. It seemed like in the past week there's like at least 5 or 6 new people.
He's busy. I also didn't get the Clash Dome giveaway shit, and we were supposed to get that. So I sent her a message about that. I was like, hey, like, I don't have any Clash Dome stuff. Did you send those? She's like, yeah, those were sent last Wednesday. I was like, well, my wallet has none of them. But we should be getting Clash Dome stuff to give away as well.
Oh, nice.
I was also given some pack where it's like, open this pack and play this shit, and I was like, I don't really want to, so I'll probably just give it away.
Yeah, it seems kind of sketchy. Like, that seems like something a scammer would do.
It wasn't even a scammer. It was like, I know the collection. They were like, but it's like, it wasn't officially endorsed by the Wax team. They just dropped it to everybody who has an ambassador badge. Like, they looked on the blockchain and saw everything. They're like,
I see.
Show people how our Telegram game works. But if I'm being honest, I have zero interest in playing any Telegram
Wasn't
games.
that the Exit Limbo? Didn't they do that?
That is Exit Limbo.
Yeah.
Which they're a real collection. They've been around as long as we have. They were a part of Yoshi drops, like Yoshi coins for holding them. So like, I don't not trust them. I just don't really want to play a Telegram game. So I'll probably just give that pack away, to be honest, instead of trying to like show it off on stream. I don't feel like being an ambassador means I have to fucking promote everything they drop to that wallet. Like, I didn't ask for that pack. I never said I wanted to promote that. Flash Dome is a real game, so I will play that on stream. And I committed to that, but I never even asked for the Exit Limbo. Which I have no problem with Exit Limbo. Again, it's just, I don't feel obligated to promote anything they drop just because they say ambassador on it. My wallet isn't even lewiswallet.wham, it's just Lewis. Type LOUIS into Atomic you can find my wallet. Let's go. Shout out to Never Say Die. You're getting a wombat hat and 2 wombat hats, actually. 1 cosmetic and then 1 functional. I don't know much about Clash Dome, but they have multiple functional games, so like less rugged than projects that have developed nothing and ask for money.
I just hope I get a gold one like you guys do. I don't want this bronze bullshit. I want some gold, baby. I want to be like these plebs with bronze badges.
Let's see. We'll do another giveaway. Yeah, I really want to show off that Italian cake project, but I will do that tomorrow. I minted my cake though. I think it's super cool. It's super cheap, and not enough people are into it. I'll show it off really quick while we wait. Can't even spell my own wallet. Yeah, I was talking about the project in our Discord, but you can buy grocery bags of ingredients and you get like different toppings, meats and vegetables. You can blend them into cakes, and their project is like a pizzeria called the Rusticana, and they're Italian dudes. But they just made a generative cake project where you can get this you get a cake slice. There's 365 of them and every single one is different, and they've got like a decent amount of different properties too. There's chocolate, strawberry, berries, milk chocolate, like all these different variants. And the claim game is kind of fun too. You go in and you have to roll a dice, and if you get a 6, you get a rare attribute, and if you don't, you get less rare attributes. Then you get to roll a second one, and if you get the number that you want, then you get to actually choose what filling inside the cake is. So you can you're able to customize what it mints, and you have to do that on Telegram. So you have to be on Telegram and in their Telegram. But I'll show off the drop real quick. I don't know. They hit me up. They gave me some of these receipts to give away. So we do have some to give away for free. So you can mint a cake for free, but I kind of wanted to mint one on stream and show you how it works before I give them away, and that's going to take a while. So I'll just do a quick promo. Yeah, it's $2.30 to buy one of these generative cakes. And they're independent artists. They're newer to Wax, so I don't know. $2.30 to get RNG into a generative thing. I think that's pretty awesome. But it's also I think it's totally generative. They aren't pre-minted. So you aren't rolling into a bunch 365 pre-minted ones. They're actually formulating what the generated thing is on mint, which there's not a lot of projects doing that on Wax. So if you're into that side of generative things, I think they actually have built a contract that's more advanced than the other generative projects. They're charging friggin' $2.30 for it. So StreamYard, and then I'll do one more giveaway, and then we'll put a ribbon on this bad boy.
Didn't you post about this in Discord yesterday? I think I bought one of those receipts.
Yes, I did post about it.
Yeah.
You have to redeem it on Telegram though, so you'll have to.
That's where I hit the wall. I was like, "Fuck, I don't have Telegram." I didn't want to download.
That's because the mint generation is through a bot linked to Telegram. That's how it decides what you're getting.
Oh.
But yeah. Also, Fall Guys went free to play today. I'm going to start doing NFT giveaways through Fall Guys. They also added new maps, new season. I'm friggin' stoked. The new levels are pretty tough too. I won fucking four Fall Guys solo missions last night. I'm getting really good at the game, and I'm having issues on some of the new levels. They're tough.
Nice. I want to try see if it's free on.
Yeah, it's gonna be free on Switch. It's free on Xbox. It's free on PlayStation, and it's free on PC. So it's on multiple consoles.
Yeah, and you can matchmake cross-chain or cross.
You can matchmake cross-chain, and you can make private rounds, and up to 60 people can play. So I can stream and kind of I guess Jackbox or whatever. It gives you a game code, and if you type in that game code, you join mine, and we'll do as many people as we can get in, and just whoever wins and gets in first place will start winning NFTs. So I think that's gonna be really fun.
Yeah.
And I encourage you all to download it and try to beat me because I'm fucking good. You're gonna have to beat me to get the NFTs.
Yeah, bitch.
You gotta beat the big dog.
We're gonna start saving some of our NFT giveaways. It's gonna get harder to get that shit out of the Give Got Neon wallet.
Yeah, we'll still do marbles, but I do want to start doing some interactive. I'm a gamer. I like real games. That's the reason I got into NFT games. So until they make a Fall Guys on the blockchain, I guess Blankos is kind of like that, but Blankos is only on PC, so it's a lot more restrictive.
Yeah.
This one's on console, so you can have us on your phone or whatever, and then join on your Xbox or on your PlayStation or on your Switch. I think that's going to allow a lot more people to join, whereas not everybody has a computer good enough to play Blankos.
Yeah. Yeah, Switch is getting it was pretty reasonably priced when I got mine. It was $200 or something.
I also just think most gamers have a console. PC gaming is a different breed than console gaming, but
yeah.
You can get it also I think it works on the PlayStation 4 and there's a PlayStation 5 out now, so you can go buy the last generation console that works on that, and it's
that is part of the strategy. DNA is interactive games like that are more resilient to multi-accounting and stuff like that.
Yeah, multi-consoling.
Yeah, you really got to be dedicated if you're going to multi-account. And even if you multi-account Fall Guys,
there's no way you're beating me while playing on 2 accounts on Fall Guys. I can guarantee that. I can't guarantee it, but you have to be really fucking good because I'm a pretty top tier Fall Guy player these days. And if you're beating me one hand on each fucking controller, you're insane.
Oh man, talking about being really good at games. Have you guys seen? There's a new show on Paramount that's called Players, and it's about esports. It's a mockumentary about esports players. I just started watching it last night. It's really, really good.
We're gonna do another giveaway for the Sune Extreme promo series. This is from our friend Valor and Vellum here in the chat, and you should charge your Switch up and take a look. Do Fall Guys, but yeah. Priscilla's an artist. She makes Sune as the figure, This is a 1-card pack sent out to streamers, and I believe there's a blend available if you can get some of these cards and blend it with her last drop, which is Play Through the Paint. If you take a common from that and a common from this, I believe you can blend them. I could be wrong about that, but these are only available from streamers. And she'll be going to some cons and selling physical toys. Count up here, San Diego Comic-Con, and then there's another one. I always forget the names. I'm not like a big con person, but you can buy physical figurines, designer toys. Are they made out of vinyl? I think they might be. And here we go. This is a San Diego Comic-Con 2022 exclusive. If you want this sweet Sune with a boat and some waves on it, you have to go to Comic-Con in July. And then she's also got pins, so if you're into physical stuff. And she's a streamer.
Resin.
Go ahead and follow her on Twitch. She gave away some physical pins the last time I watched her stream. So
they're resin. That's dope.
Red.
Have you thought about doing like VIRL NFTs kind of thing? I mean, I
She
feel
does
like
it the opposite. If you buy her real life
right,
things,
yeah.
then you get NFT claims. So it's like instead of getting the NFT and claiming the physical, you buy the physical and you can claim NFTs, and then you can get your physical as a NFT and then stake that to Wombat, I think, which would be cool.
That is pretty cool.
Okay, let me make sure I copy pasted this. I can't remember. I did not. Good thing I just checked.
That's dope.
That is pretty cool though. Like you can buy a physical figurine and then be like, "Oh, I'm gonna stake this physical figurine into Wombat Dungeon."
Yeah, that is smart because you're trying to capture the physical collector's side, just like Funko. You know, if people like collectibles, they'll probably like NFTs. You know, they play on the same kind of principles.
Yeah.
Later, Louie. We got a lot of Louis in the stream today. Power to my Lou brothers and sisters if you're a Luis, I guess.
Luis.
Yeah, where's Luis? Where's your brother?
If we got any Luigis out there, shouts out to you.
Luigi.
So
Or
that's
Luis.
your family.
Louise and Luis. It's kind of similar, but Luis would be my Mexican and Spanish Luis brothers. And how people constantly mispronounce my name in Los Angeles, but I'm fine with it. And Louis is my French brothers. Luigi is my Italian brother. Louis has a different version in every language, but Hungarian for Louis. See, we got Louises everywhere.
They're multiplying.
Here we go. Also, I didn't say it, but we don't allow multi-counters. If you are found sending wax to other wallets within our races, you will be flagged and banned. There is a verification process if you think you've been unfairly banned to prove you're a real person, but it requires you sending a picture to me, and not a lot of people are cool with that. So be warned, don't multi-counter shit. And also, if you buy 0 NFTs and sell a bunch, you will also be disqualified. Our giveaways are for people who support wax creators, and if you do nothing but claim stuff and sell them, you are leeching money out of the network, and you are not supporting anybody on the network. So all the power to you. You're fine to flip as much as you want. If you don't want to buy NFTs and you're using it to buy groceries or whatever, that's fine, but we're not going to supplement that in our races. But I respect the hustle. I mean, make money how you got to make money. Just don't abuse our marble races.
Damn, dude. Is it time to fuck around with Shiba tokens again?
Oh, you're living dangerously.
Up like 30% today, those sheeps.
The Splinterland that I won in FTBox Blend just sold for 2K wax. Oh, nice. That's a good fucking pull.
Dang, yeah, that's a good little.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even understand why Splinterland's blades are worth that much. They're not even. There's 0 function in the game, right? Like they haven't introduced.
No, they give you it's for like late game stuff. You get to like craft some type of like in-game like items if you have those lands that like you really need in order to like change the meta mid-game.
Yeah, but you can't do that yet, so it's all speculative.
Oh shit, really? I thought that was
That
already
has
live.
not been introduced to the game yet.
Oh. Damn.
Oof.
I also
Yeah,
think,
Splinterlands. I mean, like, I'm not. That card game never quite landed for me, but it still stings a little bit when we talked about buying a shit ton of Splinterlands land and we never did.
That's true.
I just feel like the auto battlers, like I'd prefer to play Gods Unchained, something where my moves make a difference in the outcome. Whereas like Splinterlands, I've heard a lot of the top players in the game are just bots, and they just run the same deck over and over. And because they have some of the best cards in the game, they literally win more than they lose, and it's profitable. So like if you have a really good deck, you can kind of just like not use any strategy and continue to win. But you can also beat those people because if they use the same deck every single time, you can see how to counter them if you're smart. So you can see the last 3 decks that your opponents used. There's a little strategy there, but yeah, I'm more into the round to round strategy than I am into like the pregame strategy.
Yeah, honestly, Splinterlands is almost too short of gameplay for me. I like where you have like your strategy is more developed because it's a longer play style. Splinterlands is a little too quick. Like the Metropolis, what was it? Metropolis Origins. I actually kind of like because it was somewhere in the middle. Too. It was designed to be a quick play style, but it's not as quick as Splinterlands, and it's also a little bit more turn-based and strategy-based. So that one's a good balance for me if you're looking for games that are more conducive to shorter.
That one has no play to earn, just to be clear, because I know some people got upset about that.
Sorry, what'd you say?
That game has no play to earn, so if you're looking for play to earn, that's not what Metropolis Origins is doing.
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, I mean, I'm just talking about card games, so card game mechanics, but yeah.
People bitch, they're like, I bought into this drop expecting to make money and I can't, and they were upset, so I just wanted to shoot that other, because people expect blockchain games to have play to earn. That's sort of it.
I guess that's true. If you're a blockchain game, there usually 9 times out of 10 there's some sort of earn mechanic.
I don't think it's a bad project. I was just mentioning that on top of your promotion of it.
We should battle each other again. I like that game too.
Yeah, I
built a custom deck too, and like the strategy's not bad. Like you can like mix and match and like do some pretty cool shit with that.
Yeah, I thought it was a decent level of strategy while still staying relatively quick, because Magic can be a little cumbersome for most.
Yeah.
It's pretty long, and I really enjoy that, but
I do too.
It's certainly a time investment and not approachable for the vast majority of people.
Do you have a Magic deck?
No, I have like a box of commons and like a handful of packs because I sold most of mine or like gave them away when I was in high school or when I went to college, and then recently a friend gave me like a box of commons that he was getting rid of for like deck building kind of foundation, but I haven't really filled it out from there.
Yeah, I have a few decks built that I built from my like collection of.
I'm hoping Blockchain Brawlers is going to fill that void for me on Wax. So I was kind of trying to get into Dark Country, but I don't know. I still have my cards for Dark Country, but I don't know. It's too buggy to try to get into that.
I like how in Metropolis they have like the different maps, so that like the way that you can place your cards on the board like is like limited on certain maps and is different, and then the way the cards work is like based on if they're touching another card, they have certain abilities. So it's like
the UI was kind of nice too. I mean, it's still relatively simple, kind of like web-based game and stuff, but I thought it had a good UI, and it was relatively intuitive to figure out how to play within like 10 minutes. Yeah. So which is good and bad, honestly. I like the complexity of Magic. I like that you like really have to understand the depth of it to be good at it.
Yeah.
I wanted to show off this. This is one of the giveaways we'll do this week. This is called Tourist Station, but they showed it off. You can already display your Neon Displays NFTs into it. It's kind of like a 16-bit pixel art thing. It kind of reminds me of a Immersis. It's just kind of like a metaverse. It's not even really a game. It's just like somewhere where you can go hang out and show your NFTs and like interact with other people collecting NFTs. I don't know much about the project. That's also why I didn't give anything away today, is because I want to show off how it works and like learn about it on stream before I start giving stuff away randomly. But if you look in our wallet,
can you display the neons with the music? Does it play the sound too?
He sent me a video with that and it works. Oops, with the sound.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's super cool.
But he sent us multiple things. There's like some cosmetics, then always in motion, Carl pins, and I think you just need one item to be able to enter the world. So like you'll be able to enter and display your NFTs. But again, I will figure that out on stream so we can
Spellweaver. Yeah, we'll have to. I'm not familiar with that DNA, but I'd be down to check it out. That sounds, and it seems like it, and it has a play to earn mechanic, which is nice.
We got cake receipts. Got some good giveaways coming up this week. We don't have a guest for Thursday, so I guess if anybody has we still have more kawaii stuff too. Maybe we'll give away some of that. We don't have a guest for Thursday yet, so if anybody has any recommendations, shoot them our way in Discord. If you want us to interview someone that you think is a good project that is underrepresented on Wax. If not, Thursday we'll just hang out, we'll play games, and maybe dive into some of these new projects that I haven't been able to check out. And I'll do our link to Discord. I'll be hanging out in Discord today. I got to eat and stuff after this, but otherwise, I'll be around. I got to make the music. Oh, we'll show our Crypto Winter thing. We haven't shown that yet.
Oh yeah, that's right. I like that one. That was good and very well timed.
I had like a way nicer drawn, like Paul had a way better drawn bear, and it was just like, no, it has to be more simple, like the actual design.
Was it just not working in the neonics aesthetic with a more complex?
It looked really good. It just didn't look like the Game of Thrones Direwolf.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we got Valor and Vellum's coming on to promote a drop next month. I think it's early next month. And I invited Sully, but Sully is going to be busy. But we're planning on doing some streams with Sully. And Sully was interested in the Fall Guys giveaway idea. So I'm thinking like maybe Sully, NFT Gamer TV, and ourselves will do like a combined stream to try to get all three of our communities to do NFT giveaways for Fall Guys. So I'd really like to get 60 people. I think it'd be amazing if 60 NFT collectors were all battling for an NFT in Fall Guys. It would be super epic.
Yeah, that would be super fucking dope.
I think the other thing is Priscilla's unavailable the time we stream, so I'd be down to have Priscilla on Thursday if she just wants to hang out. But I think she works, and we have to do a different time stream, like an evening stream or a weekend stream if she's going to be a guest. Yeah, maybe I'll hit a burst and just see if we get a spicy Thursday, but we'll figure something out. Or I'm also fine just hanging out and playing games. Like, it's kind of nice not having a guest from our end, just because, like, you know, there's a responsibility in interviewing people and caring about their opinions when I kind of like just digging around on the internet and playing NFT games. Maybe we'll just play Blankos or Jackbox or something, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, I'm excited about this. As Max was talking about, I'm sure I didn't actually see his chart reading, but predicting crypto winter bear market. So this is a play on. I actually don't know this logo super well. What is the name of the house, Max?
That's House Stark. Stark. The Stark house is "Winter is coming" is their slogan. It has the direwolf.
I'm pulling it up on. Wait, am I showing this off? I'm not. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. So yeah, if you've watched the TV show Game of Thrones, which I feel like most people have, but we also live in like the television capital of the world, so everybody here's seen it. We were big fans of Game of Thrones, so this is a reference to Game of Thrones. Winter is coming. That's a big part of.
Max called bear market like 3 weeks before everyone else started having a bear sentiment. We have not crafted Naughty Scotty. I lose way past that. You crafted the other Scotty, right?
I had
injured Scotty.
Injured Scotty.
I had 4 Scotties, and 3 of them turned into berries during the burn event. I owe Toon 2 gold. He lent me some gold so I can do that.
But you know, I like the Naughty Scotty edition. As someone who did get one of those artifact packs and has been playing it, I was worried that the next upgrade path would have to go straight to berry, which seemed like it would take forever and a day. So I like it. I think the crafting cost is pretty reasonable and makes sense.
What is it for that one?
It's 5 gold and I think like 4,700 brawl or something like that.
Okay, I could get to that. I think
it's attainable. It might take a while if you purely brawled your way through it, but I don't think if you got close and then just bought the rest, it still would be relatively reasonable. And then it uses the common ring, and you don't need to heal it either, which I think is pretty advantageous. So, but yeah, so I'm good on the gold. I think I have the 5 gold, but
the one thing, I don't know, this is definitely not financial advice. Let me pull my banner before I talk about Brawl Token. We need the banner for this. But the one thing I will say about Brawl Token is it's got like a 1 billion total tokens. If you look at other Wax tokens, there are multiple game tokens worth more than Brawl token with a way higher market cap.
Yeah,
so,
most of them are in like the 100 billion or trillion range.
Trillions. So like there's a lot of tokens. The other thing is you're going to need them to play the game, and the mining is going to end in probably 2 months. People are calculating August is when the mining is going to end, and it'll probably ramp up exponentially and actually end in July. So like in the next 2 months, people will not be able to mine the token anymore, and you'll need it to craft. So will that make the price go up? I'm not sure, but I don't think it's the worst game token to hold on Wax. And I want to play the game, and I'm hopefully going to try to get a land. And if you get a land, you can craft. So I personally want to keep my tokens to play the game and to craft stuff. So that's what I'm interested in. But like, yeah, I don't know. I can't predict if the market's going to be higher in 2 months than it will be now. But I do think it's not the worst token to be holding on Wax. It's also like TLM. It's available on multiple major exchanges. It's also an Ethereum bridge token. So like, there's other things backing the token besides just the game utility. But we'll see. That's my not financial advice. But my main thing is if you're interested in the game, hold the token. If you have no interest in the game, then I don't know, maybe sell half now and hold half now and sell it later. So if it goes up, then you still capitalize on it. But if it goes down, then you capitalize on the current price. So it's always not a bad strategy. If you're not sure what's going to happen with something, is sell some now, sell some later.
Yeah, you don't have to do everything all at once every time. You just sell some every day if you want.
We'll get more into I want to talk more about brawlers, and we'll show off what new Scotty and stuff looks like tomorrow. Tomorrow's our more NFT game day, but we'll also be doing some like Jackbox and interactive games with our audience. But we've been going for 2 hours and 30 minutes, so I think it's time to wrap this up. Again, hit me up in Discord if you want to talk NFTs or play Fall Guys. Honestly, I want more people to add me on Epic Games as friends so we can play Fall Guys together. I will definitely
gotta install that shit on my Switch.
And yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. And we will catch you tomorrow we moved our stream to 12 p.m., which is 2 hours before now. And we're doing that Tuesday through Friday. And then Saturday will still be at 2 p.m. for Super Blood Saturday. But we bumped 2 of our streams 2 hours earlier. So a bit of an earlier stream schedule should work better for the Europeans and hopefully conflict less with the other Wax streamers, which is who I'm going to raid into now because Taco is streaming with NFT Gamer TV. Yeah, we appreciate y'all showing up and hope you're staying safe in this crypto winter. But we're going to be around streaming and playing NFT games the entire time. So hope you join us.
Oh man, your boy Kevin just lost lots of money. Oh, but that's okay. I am with you. Oh man, your boy Kevin just lost lots of money. Oh, but that's okay. I am with you. Here we go. Come on, push it. Find the dip. Here we go. Come on, push it. Find the dip. Here we go. Come on, push it. Find the dip. Here we go. Come on, push it. Oh my God, what's happening?
First of all this whining by Wall Street is making me sick. 140% of GameStop was short. You can't allow Wall Street to short 75% of a stock, crush these companies into the dirt, thousands of stocks into the dirt. Then when the individual makes money, everyone's entrepreneurs. I have a kid who bought a house, paid $50,000 and bought a house. After decades of the shorts, you have to accept the fact that individual investors are playing the same game that you're playing and now you're losing.
Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it. Oh my God, what's happening? Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it, find the dip. Here we go, come on, push it. Oh my God, what's happening?
There's a lot of power in organization online. 2 million people can get together in a subreddit. I think it's really funny that the GameStop stock is going up and just affects the market in that way. There's 20,000 people live in a Discord who are spamming rocket emojis, yelling, "Go to the moon."
Thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to raid into NFT Gamer TV. We're doing Taco Tuesday, so have fun over there.